Yo guys, how you doing? We are back again with the Blood Angels. This is episode 3 of getting these guys done, and I think they're looking fantastic. This is the Impulsor that we've got to a nearly finished standard. Crooked Grin! Cheers to that host. Much appreciated, dude. Yeah, that looks a bit more like it looks in real life now. Got it to a nearly complete standard. Got a few little bits and pieces to do, but as you can see, we've based it. Everything is looking pretty damn hot. We've got a few things like these skulls to do, things like the missile launcher bits to do, this little Aquila on the gun to do. But most importantly, one of the things that we've got to do is all of this on the inside. So anything of that is gold is going to get base coated today. You get some washes down on that as well, because today what we're predominantly going to do is get all of this lot washed. We've done all the base coats. Here is a big old box of Blood Angels. They've had everything base coated, with the one exception, I think, of things like Purity Seal, the wax bits, the actual seal on a Purity Seal, I guess. So we've got all of the washes to do, and there's plenty of it. So today is going to be a very much sort of wash focused stream. So if anyone's looking at like how to paint gold, we're going to start off with that basically, but otherwise we're just sort of getting on. Nice headlights. They are nice headlights. I mean, they work really well. The trick is obviously explained in the Patreon video, so I'm not going to go into it in excruciating detail. But when you're thinking about your color selection for miniatures, a lot of people grab a color wheel, and we've talked about color wheels recently. Spleen! Thank you very much, dude. 3 months now. That's a new badge. Good morning. Good morning to you as well, bro. Yeah, we talked about the color wheel in our recent YouTube video, the one where we did Gorzag and Nickit, who are still waiting to be packed up. So here's Gorzag looking like an absolute boss. And we used the color wheel and the specifically the Martian color wheel, because it breaks down everything into lots of different hues along its length, to explain why we can use purple for our base coat and it work really well with these highlights, despite the fact that purple and green are at a bit of an angle to each other on a color wheel. They're not directly opposite, which is what most people do when it comes to looking for contrasting colors that work well together. Here we've got red, yellow, and blue all in one spot. Now the blue and the yellow, obviously, they look quite good on the color wheel, away from each other, you know. Dreadfear! Thank you very much. But because we've got 3 primary colors, as long as you look at the not CMYK like primary spectrum, then it really works. Like, you get that nice tie-in together. Because you've got a very warm red, some very warm yellows, but a very cold blue, you get that separation again. So you can get different levels of contrast and separation in your miniature by just changing the tone of things. Victim, thank you for that sub. And Dreadfear, thank you for that host. That's another 3-month sub. Again, you get a new badge. Thank you very much, dude. Really appreciate it. So, let's start off with just some gold. We're using the Scale Metal and Alchemy, as they've rebranded their Dwarven Gold. We've just got a couple of little bits to base coat on this guy. Then we're going to be washing all of the gold. It's a 2-step wash process. So, by the time we've done all of it to begin with, we'll come back, and that'll all be dry, ready for the next coat to go on. Mara! Thank you for the host as well. Hosts are super useful to all streamers. Just checking my element order now. Not element order, my partner thing. Let's see. No, still nothing. Let's just check junk, just in case. No, still nothing. Still nothing. Damn it! It's okay. It's okay. I've got a message from Troll Trader. They'd pay 200 quid for the Alpha Legion Primaris that we painted. So if anybody wants to offer me like £200 and a bit, I'll take it. Just want to get rid of them. So Rolf, how you doing? Very quickly grown to love your streams, amazing tips, even better content. Well, I'm not sure about any of that at all. But thank you very much, man. I really appreciate the compliment. Honestly, I'm glad you can find something helpful out of what we do. That's the entire point of it, is to help painters so they don't have to go through 20 years of like really guarded sort of views on like painting. Back when I started off, nobody would talk to anybody else about painting because you didn't want to give your secrets away. That's such bullshit. Let everyone just paint. You know, if everyone paints better, then the overall standard must go up. Everyone's learning off of each other. Everyone's sort of competing with better painters. It pushes excellence. This is only a good thing as far as I'm concerned. But hey ho. Work on custom heads. Let's get in the viewport. Question is, how will it look printed? I would not know, bro. I am definitely the wrong person to ask about that. But you've been doing this for a while. Trust your instincts. I'm sure you'll be fine. The rest of your work looks pretty damn spot on, so just keep going. Just keep going. Gumbelina, how you doing, bro? I was hoping that someone would get the pun that I was making earlier on the Discord, and must say, Gumbelina did not disappoint. Oh. Viking, I was going to set that up yesterday. My buddy Liang, who's in the chat, very kindly offered to spend some time helping me sort that out. And I didn't have time on the Wednesday when we talked about it. We were going to do it yesterday, but because of the power cut on Thursday, I completely didn't think about it. I was too busy doing the editing. And then later on, fighting with Vimeo and Patreon because they just did not want to accept that upload. Oh, that was baking my noodle. I was not having fun times with that, but never mind. There's this better Twitch TV. It's basically like additional emotes and so on that you can get, and other thing that you can like add to chat, basically. I know there's a load of emotes and like GIF emotes and stuff. Liang basically wants a cat that's sort of doing this. Not bad. Try changing the Incubi Blaze to a red version of the Witch Power Sword. Looks good, but it's a bit off. I'm not going to redo nothing out there. Okay. Haven't slept yet, but we wanted to drop in and show a little support real quick. Oh, mate. Superstar. Absolute legend. Thank you. And again, guys, much appreciated on those hosts. It's had a massive impact on our general viewership. Thursday's stream, not Tuesdays, as I may have said, but Thursday stream, despite the fact that we started well late, getting 90 people in the chat while we're just doing some assembly. Not even anything interesting. No, not really. just the dragster, you know. MC. Cheers, dude. How's Tricks? Doing well. Also, Plank Walker, how you doing? And Polly, what up? So yeah, thank you to everyone that has put a host in, whether it's today or in the past. Like, mad love to all of you. We all turned up for the banter. Absolutely. Ginger Steve. Hello, bro. How's your homework going? Steve is... one of our Patreon students. The last lesson was about doing Black Templar freehand symbols. So, not necessarily straightforward. Just sad no one else joined in on the short jokes earlier. Right, what can I say? What can I say? I've had, in the past, a girlfriend called Flick, who was tiny. She was not quite 5 foot. I've had a girlfriend called Titch, who you can imagine was definitely not quite 5 foot. My dog auto-hosts you now, stays fire his laptop duty time. Legend. Fucking legend. Go Desi's dog. Desi's dog, slightly more efficient than Des at that point, I feel. But what can he do? What can he do? So, yeah, I've had plenty of time in my life to come up with short jokes. That's what we're getting at with that. Alright. No, let's keep using this brush. This is the not brand new one. Leech. How's it going? So, you're using purple tone. You're about to confess a midget fetish. Hell no. No. Although, I will admit, when I started seeing my ex-wife, I was wondering whether she would be like classified as a midget or not, because I knew there was like a height limit. Not height limit. What would the right word be? Like a, if you're not this tall, you're a midget limit. But I didn't know what that number was. So she was 4'11.5", and if you're 4'10" or less, then you're legally classified as a midget. And I was like, classification, that's it. She came an ex-wife and asked me, no, this was like before our third date. I'd look this up just to find out if I was going to fuck a midget. Like, just because of all the jokes that I knew were going to be coming out. You have to walk under the bar without limboing to be a midget. Brilliant. But no, she missed the cut off by 1.25 inches. I said she was 4'11.25", and if anybody ever asked her how tall she was, she put emphasis on that quarter. I guess when you don't have that many inches to count, each one counts, right? George, how you doing, bro? I've heard of research for date, but wow. Get a ride height sign at the door. I've got nothing against short people. I've gone out with quite a lot of girls that are shorter than me, and I'm not particularly tall. I'm 6 foot. That's not massive by any stretch of the imagination. Markomania, how you doing, man? Jesus, Des. Been better, meant to be at work. Got half a mic down the road before my car broke down. You started talking in military speak then, so... is this still your Toyota? Because I'm surprised that thing still runs at all. Without, veering into hedges. Sorry to hear that, dude. Hopefully it's not an expensive fix. Half a mile. Well, like half a mic, that's what? Same thing, isn't it? Really like Blood Angel content. I'm glad, dude. Have you seen the new Patreon video about how to paint marine tanks? We did the Impulsor as our subject matter for it. Alright. That's a fun one. Oh, I see. Okay. Fair. Why have you got 2 of these? It's a MRT, I think. Is it an MRT? Silesia. That's it. But anyway, mate, sorry to hear it's having issues. Again, hopefully not too expensive of a fix. Right, with these bike engine cowlings, not engine cowlings, exhaust mufflers, I guess. Loudener. Could be a Loudener. It's a marine bike. We're going really heavy with the wash. We're trying to like pretty much fill up all of these recesses. And we're also trying, like actively trying, to get the purple to pool on these upper surfaces, because that gives quite a lot of contrast. So don't let it streak, that's not what you want, but just dotting in a little bit of extra up there really helps to push the highlights and the shadows of what we're doing here. So, oh, we forgot his armband. This little badge. So yeah, don't be afraid of doing things like that with your washes and your shades, even if you're just glazing in shadows and so on. To just really add a little bit of interest to something that's ordinarily quite flat by comparison. Obviously careful about overdoing it. There we go. But, you know, find a little way of adding some extra interest to what would otherwise be a boring feature of the Mini. That's why we're doing the gold before we do all the silver, so we can come back in here and hit those recesses with black as well, and really got those. Spleen, I have no idea, dude. Not a clue. Like, I'm not really a car guy. I love cars, don't get me wrong. There's some beautiful stuff out there. I drove on the motorway back from visiting Jackie, and there was a probably 1955-ish Ford pickup on the back of a recovery wagon, and I love things like that. That's absolutely my jam. You had something that was created back then that was as utilitarian as it came. Here's a pickup truck because America, and you need pickup trucks to get all of your stuff that you need to carry from point A to point B in one trip, because you're a manly man, and a manly man makes one trip with the groceries. And that's it, right? But they look beautiful, like all the soft curves that they've got on them. Oh, my actual dream car is like a late 50s Chevy truck. I'd rather have that than my other dream car, which is a GT40. Right. Ichu, what up? About when cars are determined by rule of cool over efficiency. I mean, something like that, yeah. Oh. For once, it's actually juice. Right. Let's get going on all the little guys now. So, I'm going to do these squad at a time. Kicking off with the Assault Intercessors. Hope there's beer. God, no. I've got to drive in a bit. Can't be drinking now. Very nice tropical fruit juice, though. South I confirm super performance. Admit GT40s, which are a fraction of the price of the legit original one, fully licensed, and as accurate as you can get for a replica. Yeah, but a fraction of the price is still going to be several £1,000s, right? And as someone that's recently self-employed, like, no. Besides which, the original like OG GT40, I'd be able to fit in, I'd be able to drive it, no issue. But having owned an old car before, it was a Land Rover, admittedly, so a very different animal. I know there's a lot of work that you have to do just to keep them going. And on a truck, you can fix pretty much anything with a hammer, some duct tape, and a wrench. It doesn't matter what it is. Spark plug, yeah, we can just make some duct tape spark plugs, and away we go. Hammer that in there, it'll be fine. On a performance sports car, it's a little bit more difficult. Draft Plays, what up, dude? Another week closer to rolling dice. Well, you know, let me just give you a little bit of a fix right now. We're going to trigger everyone that doesn't like multiple coloured dice being used. I thought that was 4 5s. The fuck? That was spooky. Some spooky shit. You always on this early on Saturdays? Yeah, bro. When we do like the marathon streams, then we start at 10. Just to get that extra hour of daylight, as it were. But on a normal, everyday weekend, we start Saturday at 11 a.m. It's the only daytime stream that we do on the regular. That might change. Might not. We'll see. Before we think about changing anything with the stream schedule, we're not considering it at the moment, but always open to it. We are going to be changing, or upgrading, I guess, some of the hours that we'll be doing lessons. So, change some of our calendar. We'll still have all day Monday, bar the sort of gap in the middle for the Hellstorm stream, Friday evenings. But I'm thinking of dropping in a Wednesday morning slot as well, just for someone that can't make either of those 2 days. Doing extra evenings is almost impossible because of the stream, so that's not on the cards. And doing lessons after the stream isn't like that's too late for me really to be able to give somebody my full focus. So we'll add another day to our calendar every week, get them lessons going, and on the 1st, meant to do it this month, but obviously with everything from the Chronothon and then just the absolute deadness that followed, I was gone. Like the last one was not that hard to recover from. We were back streaming at 5 o'clock on a Monday, painting base rims, I think. Right, any gold on any of these lads? Yes, you've got some gold, and you probably have some gold. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't get around to doing it. I don't want to do it halfway through the month if we can help it, because that makes it really difficult for someone to get their lesson in. So, existing Patreons, if you would like to be a student, keep your eye out on the 1st for a message in Discord in the Patreon members only area when that spot goes up, advertising it. All right, just be mindful that that's gonna be the way it works. It will have to be first come first serve. There's no real way of me doing it otherwise, and it feels unfair to sort of hold it for somebody. What we're doing with the belts and belt buckles, I always leave them power armor color. I'm not sure why, but that's the way I've always done it, and it just seems to work okay. So that's just the way. 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. This isn't going to have as much time to dry as I thought. Okay. I have to grab the hairdryer in a sec. Give it a helping hand. But yeah, belts, especially the belt buckles, I always do just power armor color. I find it just adds an extra bit of detail to the middle. And as you can see from my sort of way of highlighting stuff, we highlight down on the legs and up on everything else. And it's all dependent on where the waistline is. So below the waist you highlight down, above the waist you highlight up. And we talked about it a lot in this most recent tank episode, and certainly in the How to Paint Blood Angels guide. And by doing that, you get this kind of dead zone in the middle. So putting something in there to help attract attention, I don't really want. Like, I want that to be, people ignore that. Yeah, we've got these vents, we've got a few ammo pouches, whatever, but I want all of that to be completely forgotten about by our viewer, because it's usually just not interesting at all. And finding a way to make it interesting seems to be a lot more work than making everything else so much more interesting that you don't look at it whatsoever. You just avoid it with your eyes. It's a personal project or a commission. It is a commission for Wraith1 UK, who's occasionally in the chat, so say hi if you are, dude. Salt and Sassy Space Marine strike me as the kind of people to accessory match. These are Blood Angels, they are the pretty boys. So, yeah, definitely. Although, to be fair, like anything that wears power armor does like to accessorize. Think about the Salamanders with all their flame stuff. Think about anyone from the... what are you painting? Lightning Boys? Night Lords. There we go. How do they not get that? You know, they've got to have just the right kind of skull and viscera. It's one of those things. I like to leave my bits at the back of the legs the same colour as the armour. My argument is we have colour-coded bumps on cars for years, so why not? See, I understand that, and I very nearly started doing that myself. However, the reason I kept mine going with the black is that it provides separation. I do a lot of shading to bring out detail rather than adding in more highlights than necessary to bring out detail. As a result, you need to have all of the recesses like properly taken care of. And so being able to add that, you know what, actually we could probably wash all this brown purple as well, but could have thought about that earlier. It would work though. And so we put all those recesses in black just to give them a little bit of extra separation. Also, it gives us a nice darker shadows, which again helps emphasize the armor more, and that's why we do it in black. Don't forget skin people's fleshy bits. Absolutely. Any tips on what to practice airbrushing on for my first attempt before spraying my first mini? Honestly, just have a go with a mini. Like, if you haven't got a pile of unlimited potential that's got a couple of minis that you realise you're never ever going to paint, then your pile of unlimited potential isn't unlimited. Okay? That's what I would do, mate. Just grab a mini and have fun with it. Be ready to completely ruin it and throw it in a vat of stripper, or, you know, just paint over the top a couple of times. It doesn't matter. Do whatever you want to do with it. But don't worry about like ruining a miniature. There's no such thing really. I've seen some bad paint jobs, but unless you're going on so thick you can't see any detail, you can't really ruin a mini. Still in the box for I have no minis. Then you need a pile of unlimited potential. Please paint the belt buckles because painters always talk about creating contrast, so I want something there in the middle and minis to change things up. Yeah, see, I went the absolute other way. I contrasted away from the middle. If I was doing a fantasy miniature, like a barbarian who was wearing like a belt and like a pair of like short pants or something, then yeah, I'd absolutely have to deal with those things. And on something like this that has a leather belt, we have to paint the belt. But I've painted the belt in the most neutral, boring colour possible, so that we can basically just push that right into the background and bring all the detail I actually care about into the foreground. Having a separation like that on a miniature, for me, I feel breeds this absolutely amazing sense of contrast. And you get this like proper bounce off of light versus dark, where everything starts to look a lot more interesting. You've got super saturated colours right up in your face, along with shadows that really help to push those colours. I'll show you that tank again in a sec, and I'll be able to explain what I'm talking about a little bit better on that, I think, because there's such large areas. But for me, the shadows on a miniature serve to boost the colour, like really get the values going, and like, I hate using this phrase because I feel like I'm stealing from Kenny every time I do, but like really push it to the next level. So instead of it just being a flat armor panel, you've got something that is its own interesting piece of the mini, despite it being just an armor panel. Let me finish the gold off on this guy, and I'll grab that tank and I'll show you. Just don't want to forget where I got. WWE Championship belts absolutely are a thing that like 40k is rife with, and I love it. I think that's absolutely fine. Bobby G Championship belt, and what a belt, you know. That's the undisputed champion of the 500 worlds right there. I feel these days he falls into the heavyweight category. I think the super heavyweight category, you've got people like Mortarian and Maggie in there. And Maggie's definitely got a championship belt of his own. So, you know, Mortarian's, the leather rotted and it fell off. But, you know, he tried. Poor lad. Anyway, I'm going to try and use sculpting material I got from China very much. Not use to any of them. I'm not really much of a sculptor, dude. So anyone that is finding time to put their sort of sculpting muscles to the test, hats off to them. It's a skill I've never really put any time into curating. I can do very, very basic things. Like I can just about sculpt a hand. I can do things like fur and stuff like that, because none of these things are necessarily difficult. Getting something that looks super realistic by the end of it, that's not easy. That takes some practice. But just getting something to sit in a recess on a model, or just like cover an area of bad mold or whatever, that's not so bad. As soon as it comes to sculpting a hand, except this hand is wearing a glove and this glove is power armor, like that's where my limit is already been hit there. I'll any big sculpting stuff that I need done, I know people that I can ask to do it, and get that commissioned out to somebody else. Like Barry Watkins and Farius, like he's an absolute boss, and I'm sure we could work together at some point on something. In fact, we have in the past. We did Valrak's head. He did the sculpting for the head, completely scratch built. Then he modified and resculpted a Primaris body, and away he went. And I painted the head. Valrak painted the body. But yeah, good luck to you on your sculpting. Ever consider 3D sculpting? I've done a little of it. Way in the past. Like, way in the past. About when I was at university. Because the course I was doing was... it was called Design for Interactive Media, which is a really, really posh way of saying web design. Without just saying web design. And I did some 3D modeling. I can't remember what it was that I used, but basically animated myself as a wrestler walking down a ring entrance into the ring as part of a project. And whilst I didn't sculpt the person, and we basically sort of reskinned it. Did sculpt a wrestling ring, and some pyro, but I didn't sculpt firework splashes. We basically just stole some special effects for that. That was outside my my skill level. You need to fill it. Scene quality is here. Pro sculpt here. Nice. Xfu, how you doing? Momsaurus, seen a bit. If you sculpt this in a way to freehand, try and break down flat bait shaping there. Yeah, absolutely. It's just getting the like painting's muscle memory, right? I don't have that for like lumps of clay or whatever else yet. Right. Yeah, marble is my medium. Give me some marble and some chisels, and I'm your man. Probably not. So here is a really, really good example of why we take this method of painting. Right. This bit right here is flat. It's boring, and you've got to do a hell of a lot to it to make it interesting. Now all we've done is put a couple of these transfers on. That's it, right? So how do you get this panel looking interesting? Well, what you do is you make this really, really dark so the outside becomes the interesting part of it. And that's where the eye is drawn. You've got this thing in the middle there to stop it looking like it's just a blank, empty space with nothing there. And that's really important. But the key part to it is making sure all of this draws your eye. And on the majority of models, if we take this as where the belt buckle would be on a Marine, anything below that, we highlight down. Anything above that, we highlight up. And that's how we get this really nice separation from things like the base. It's much more apparent on a miniature that's literally stood on a base rather than floating above it. You get these natural highlights coming in across the top. For me, this is the way to paint and to really get some very interesting, very striking models. Because even from the other side of a table, like if this was 4 foot away, like you'd still see these lovely dark shapes with these nice bright areas around it. You'd get that sense of like, ooh, what's that going on when you look at the OSL and so forth, right? That's all going to be there. And for me, that's super important. Like you can't not have that. You absolutely need that on a miniature. Built muscle texture and other stuff, but I don't do a lot of sculpting. It's something I can do, but not to sufficient degree. Exactly, it's one of those things that you have to develop. I don't think sculpting is a natural talent for like anyone. There are people that maybe are better at it because they've got better hand-eye coordination, they're more dexterous. Maybe they've got a mind that is particularly good at breaking up shapes and manipulating those in their head so they can see exactly what they need to do on stuff, just like as an innate ability. But I'm not entirely certain there's ever going to be somebody that's like, yeah, so I was literally born to sculpt. So spleen, it's not like I don't keep it a secret per se. So I'm happy to tell you, but I have to look up on the invoice because everything is different. Oh shit, we haven't done the gold on this tank. Talk about the tank. Need to get the washes on that. Everything's different. So painting this tank would be different from painting a White Scars version, for instance, which obviously white is a little more time consuming to paint. It's not difficult. Like we've proved that a couple of times. White is actually quite easy to paint. And there's a YouTube video how to paint white. No airbrush, 3 colors. That's a really good video. I strongly suggest that anyone that finds white a bit of a ball ache to paint has a look at that. Kill team has arrived. I have 2. We can open it in a bit if you want. Have a look. Might do that now actually while the washes are drying. That could be a thing. You've already had the rest of the internet's first impressions on it. And I think that the box has been judged harshly. But we'll see. Danny, cheers for the host, mate. But yeah, everything's always different, mate. as far as it comes to commission costs. It's never a secret because I don't charge people based on the person. Like, there's no one I've ever charged more because I figured, oh, you know, I reckon this guy can afford it, or I reckon this guy's a dickhead, or whatever. Like, I don't run a business like that. So if somebody approached me and asked me for a quote, I'd just give them a quote, and it'd be the same price anyway, right? Gubertown likes the box. Gubertown, good lad. Printed the 450mm taut Snow White, which based on a broken stone one from years ago. Nice. Akuno's got the Seven Dwarfs. So yeah, while the purple wash is still drying, let's have a look. So there was somebody like semi-famous on the internet saying that they've looked everywhere. They said, I've looked everywhere, and the only place that this says it's an expansion for Kill Team and you need the base game to play is this little bit at the back of the rulebook or whatever. For me, that's self-explanatory. It just is. So yeah, I mean it's written there. It's written there. There's a couple of the word expansion on the box, and to me, an expansion definitely has the solid implication that you need the base game to play. I didn't assume that you could read, but I assumed that a regular content creator, there's a lot of plastic, could, especially when you're reporting on said stuff. But hey, so this bit obviously super important. This is the Chronomancer, and this whole set has been slammed by people saying, right, GW are basically selling it to everybody now because everybody wants this bit and everybody wants the Gravis dudes inside. And that's true. That's the only reason I've bought it. Like, I don't care about this. I've got a set of it to use. This, actually, the doors, I know we joked about this earlier on. Definitely, I could see myself using that on a base. Couple of, like, these things, probably not. Almost certainly not. But you've got options there to make bases look a little bit more interesting on some of the larger stuff. I am probably going to use all of the scenery from one set and glue it all onto the Necron-themed scenery that I've got from the Alliance Armory. But that's a lot, and this is actually the substantial, like, thick plastic that you get from all of your, like, Citadel ruins and so on. So these doors are solid. You know, that's going to take some cutting to get through. These are all quite chunky. So, you know, that part at least is well made. I can deal with that. That's good. Here's the flayed ones, which I have been told are a complete and utter fucker to put together. Looking at the sprue, I can believe it. This doesn't look fun at all. You've got an individual hand there, for instance. Look at this bit where you've got, right, what I am assuming is an elbow joint. Yeah. That's going to be quite unfun. Oh, and look at how Look at how flimsy these are as well. That's... God, anyone want to put together 20 flayed ones? Fuck that noise. Right, grab his captain, dude. I don't even think I've even looked at this guy. Like, not really. I knew he was in the box, and then I didn't give a shit. Not bad, though. Interesting sculpt. Yeah, why not? I mean, he looks cool enough. Looks like he's only got the one option for the bolt rifle, though, which is the Fat Mag auto one. They will flay your patience. I mean, that felt a little bit forced to me, mate. Flaying a dead horse on these jokes. Bolt gun is so fucking huge. It is quite a meaty bolt gun. Yeah. There's this weird bit of detail here where they've put... Oh, it's a purity seal. From the back, I thought it was like some duct tape. Just looking at it, like, okay. There's whatever this star is. And that looks like it belongs on a shoulder or something. It's not that shoulder. Don't know where that belongs. But anyway, not a bad looking bit of kit. We've got 2 of these. One of them will be for a giveaway, guaranteed. Because I'm not going to want 2 of those in my own army. And then here's the bit of sprue that everyone is busting a nut over. And this is not a bad sprue at all. They've still gone for this method of creating your Space Marines, which is fine. You know, I'd prefer it if the gap was just underneath the belt, and so the legs were one piece and the torso was another. Because these are a lot harder to repose, and looking at the way the legs are, where you've got these, that kind of explains why. Because those things locate onto the hips or something. In fact, you can see that little circle there. That's where they locate. But you could still do all of that as just the leg. Well, maybe not. That goes into the belt as well. So, alright. Fair. T-Bird! Cheers for the follow. So, that's my only real gripe with this sprue. But that's just because I don't like the way... Like, give me the old days of a tactical squad being, here's your pair of legs, here's the front and back of a body, now make your Marine. You know? Arms are somewhat posable. Let's see. We've got lots of these with the hands underneath each one. Which means that there's going to be a, pair of arms for each one. These are all flush at the sides, though. So there's no, these arms must go with this body. Otherwise, that's it. Best be equipping them with Hellstorm bolters. No, they're going to get the rapid fire bolters because it's functionally the best choice. It really is. But they've got a lot of guns on here. Like a lot of guns. So we've got your usual 5, except there's 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we've got a 5th one there. There we are. So you get your 5 normal guns. Then there's somebody holding it one-handed. You've got whatever this one is. It looks like the Stalker one because of the sight. There's a different option for the other arm. Yeah, these look cool. Loads of extra bits as well, like your purity seals and your traditional Gravis dick ornament. As far as heads go, we've got 6. Okay, this one looks like it's specific to something. Part of that is closed off, so maybe there's something that goes over a faceplate. There's another one up here, so you've got all the options for that. Another couple of bear heads, which I'll probably never use. And you've got the random shit, some all-spec stuff. All the heavy bolter stuff is kind of cool. I like what they've done here. So in the same vein as your normal bolt rifles, they've got, look, here's your heavy bolter. And now, which heavy bolter do you want? So you've got one mag there. There's another one down here. So that looks... I don't know which one's which. This one looks like the Hellstorm one. And then you've got that one. And there must be a third one somewhere. Yeah, it's here. Oh, no, is that the Hellstorm one? Oh, I don't know. That one looks like the heavy shot. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, I don't know. But yeah, that's a very cool kit. Like a really cool sprue. Well done, G-Dubs, for their Gravis dudes sprue. What else have we got in here? Got some bases, got some cards. Anybody want any of this shit apart from the bases? The bases are mine. But I'm really not fussed on this. This would be a cool backdrop for stuff. Perhaps I don't need two of them. But yeah, Kill Team Pariah Nexus. If you were buying it for just the Marines, then obviously it's not optimized for you. If you were buying it for just the Necrons, then you're really overpaying. If, like me, you have both of these armies and you're just interested in getting the plastic crack, then this is okay. You know, right. That's a pretty solid buy. If you've got Kill Team, if you and your buddies love Kill Team, maybe you don't have room at home for a 6-foot by 4-foot table like I do, then maybe you play just Kill Team. In that case, if you love your Kill Team games, why not? It's to me this goes in the same sort of vein as anyone that is into games like Zombicide and so on. You've got Zombicide, the base game. Like, cool, this is fun. Having loads and loads of fun playing this. This is awesome. But we've played all the missions to death. So we kind of know what we're doing. When there's an expansion where we can do some different missions. So I think that's fine. 95 quid for a board game expansion. Not unheard of. I've just spent 100 and... Oh no, I got a voucher code, so I got it for 90 quid. I got Gloomhaven for 90 quid. So, is there more playability in Gloomhaven than there is in this? Yeah. Almost certainly. Is there more playability in Gloomhaven than there is in just a game of Kill Team? Not sure. Like that. Yes, you can paint the Gloomhaven minis. I'm not going to because they look like shit. So yeah, that's never happening. But obviously you've got all the hobby aspects of this, so is that much for a board game? Completely outside the realms of like reasonable? I don't think so. I know Mikey plays the Dark Souls board game, or used to at least with his old housemate. That's got some banging miniatures in it. There's a load of board games with minis now, and they look tight. Admittedly, normally when you buy something like that, that's like, here's all you need, and you're done. But this isn't. I can't be mad about it though. Inks, cheers. Much appreciated. There's guides on how to do the regular Marines on both YouTube and Patreon. Part 1 went up on YouTube, so that's how to do the red armor. Part 2 for all of the extra bits is up on Patreon. And then there's a guide that went up on Patreon yesterday on how to paint literally any marine vehicle. Any marine vehicle. Using this as our subject matter. I still haven't got the exposure right. This is still too light. Just looking at my hand as the guide. Yeah. But yeah, this is what we used as our base for it, and definitely worth a watch. The techniques that we use in there, the same like theories on how to paint miniature painting that we use in there, you can use to paint any marine vehicle. We talk about it in the intro. whether it's dreadnoughts, flyers, tanks, or even larger minis like this guy on a bike. Same methodology applied to this as to that. Missed his armband. A lot of the negative views because people looking at them 40k. Yeah, exactly that. But that's because most content creators are predominantly 40k content creators. There are almost certainly some kill team content creators out there. There must be. Somebody's got to be sat there going, I fucking love Kill Team. This is the best game that GW have made. And I want to play it all day. And they've probably got like a local Kill Team League and everything else going on. And I'd love to hear what they think about it. But I don't know any of them. But I imagine that a few of them have gone, it's good. A few of them have gone, it's alright. And a few of them have gone, oh shit. But they're the people it's really aimed at. It just happens to be, and it doesn't just happen to be, let's be honest here. This is a good move by GW. It's a good business move, at least, by GW. That some kits that people want, they've held back to put in this set. Now, are we going to see heavy intercessors on every single tabletop? The answer is no. You just won't. Are they good? I've got 10 of them, so they're at least decent. But the reason I've got 10 of them is because they go in my Deathwatch army, where they are ablative wounds for a fuckload of eradicators and some multi-melters. And so for me, they are really good because they buff something else significantly. If I played Ultramarines, are they good? I'd say yes, actually. You've got an army that can fall back and shoot. You've got an army that doesn't necessarily want to be really, really close to my opponent. And you've got a unit there that with 3 wounds and toughness 5 makes it a lot harder to shift off of objectives, so that's good. If I play White Scars, am I like, I need my heavy intercessors? No. If I play Blood Angels, am I like, heavy intercessors are one for me? Probably not. Because they don't really synergize very well with that army. Are they going to drastically change the landscape of 40k? No. Because if they've been released with the Marine Codex, they would have. But now we have a Death Guard Codex. And everybody and their brother is looking to be able to do 3 damage in 1 hit to a toughness 5 mini. So when it gets reduced to 2 damage, they get the kill. And so people have already been teching to kill exactly those. So they're not going to change the landscape of 40k. They're good in some armies and not all of them. So what's the big deal? I'll tell you now, half of it is FOMO. I wish that wasn't the case. But half of the people that are like, oh, I need them now. I have to buy Kill Team. Fuck GW for making me buy Kill Team. I don't like Necrons at all. Silent King once touched me in an inappropriate place. They're buying it because of that. They don't really care about them. It's just they want them in case they're good. That's it. Ultramarine can move and fire heavy weapons without penalty for 2 turns, which helps. Exactly. That's why they're decent in Ultramarines. Also, by the time you throw Bob EG in there and you get that like big old reroll 1s aura, then you know they're still doing really, really well. Ultramarines love being in Tactical Doctrine. So they're really good in. And here's an underrated play that you probably won't see. They're going to be really, really good in Raven Guard. Because you've got a strength 5 weapon. Oh, bollocks, we didn't do this guy purple. Just because we're talking about a tank. You've got a strength 5 weapon that gets +1 to hit and wound against characters. So suddenly those guys are wounding like knights on 4s. They're wounding Mortarion on 4s. Right? Let me just take my heavy Intercessors heavy bolter and just chug away at you. They're okay in that army. As soon as you hit one of those magic breakpoints in 40k, which is where you either wound the majority of stuff better, or can't be wounded, or are harder to wound by the majority of stuff. That's the better way of saying it. As soon as you hit one of those breakpoints in 40k, the stat that you've got becomes massive. If you hit that breakpoint and then get a buff to wound, it's like Blood Angels. One of the reasons they're so powerful, +1 to wound in combat. One of the reasons why things like Blade Guard Vets are so good in Blood Angels lists, it's a strength 5. So suddenly they wound everything on 3s, that's like a basic infantry on most characters. And then it becomes 2s. Battle Chode! Dude, thank you very much. 4 months now. Absolute superstar. Aloha back to you. We thought it was the Drukhari. I thought you were in the wrong place. Drukhari probably think that everyone's in the wrong place. Nothing but arrogance. And of course, we love that. But yeah, you hit those breakpoints and then you get a bonus on top. It becomes potentially oppressively powerful. And there's a reason that Blood Angels are probably one of the best Marine armies overall. And it's that +1. That helps so much. I'm good, dude. How about yourself? How's things? We just had a look through the Pariah Nexus Kill Team expansion that says Kill Team expansion on the outside of the box in like 4 places. You know, or Christ. What up, bro? How you doing, mate? Streaming later? Good shout to Raven Guard. So, success with Bolter for the Sage stacked with which super doctrine you want? Which one's the Bolter for the Sage? Is that the like faux Imperial Fists one? Well, that's the other one they work well as. Fists. It's just obviously you don't get access to that like heavy weapon that do an extra damage thing with them. There's not a tremendous amount of stuff in the game that does that you'd want to take en masse enough to get that benefit either. So fists are kind of bottom of the pile really of Marines for me. But potentially Raven Guard. Again, thanks my Crusade Army's turned up, so burn paint that. Nice, dude. No during weekends. Of course. Okay, well, let's get a shout out for this guy anyway. If you're not following Orky, you should be. This guy's been streaming for, 4 years? Everyone should be giving this guy some love. Absolute superstar. Very friendly. 7 years. I'm surprised if anyone's not already following you at that case. Damn, son. We haven't even had our 2nd birthday. How could I forget? Exclamation point. Vote. In the chat. Right meow. It's got to be done. Got to be done. Yeah, I've just seen Akuno's reply. That took way too long to get the joke. Love it. Right. Click on that link. and you will go to this. This is the straw poll for what army we're going to paint and raffle off for our second birthday. So we asked you guys to come up with some lists and then vote on those lists, and we shortlisted it down to these 5. And quite bizarrely, Ichu submitted 2 of these, Des submitted 1 of these, and I submitted 2 of these. Kind of in that order, actually. So clearly, we are the 3 best people in Discord when it comes to writing army lists. It's just got to say, that's clearly what this means. Reroll 1s on bolt weapons. There's so many different ways of getting that in a Marine army, though. I probably wouldn't bother. I'm upset by your lack of orcs. Hey, people didn't vote. I wrote a good orc list. James McKenzie wrote a good orc list. It just wasn't done. Just wasn't done. So, we've got a Tyrannid list. Neurothrope, Old One Eye, 6 warriors, 3 warriors, 3 rippers, 5 zone throats, and a Carnifex. How cool is that? How cool is that? Jade, we purposely wrote lists that were not tournament lists. They're fun lists, but they're not tournament lists. And it's a small army. It's just like a crusade force that you could use. So we're trying to keep it themed as well. So you get wind of a new codex, so we build a new orc army. Literally, Jesus Christ, mate. Really? That'll be fun. We've got Tau Army. A commander, Cadre Fireblade, 10 Fire Warriors, split to 2 to 5, 5 breaches, and then all the missile broadsides. Why not? Desi's choice, Salamander's Vanguard, Adrax, 5 Assault Intercessors, an Invicta, 3 Aggressors, an Ironclad, and 3 Eradicators. That's a nasty list. The Ironclad literally exists to chomp up the board and then fire off some melter guns before pounding the living fuck out of something. Got a Sisters list with a Canoness, some Sisters, Repentia Superior, some Repentia, some Celestians, which are kind of like Super Sisters, basically, and a Rhino, and then a Space Wolves list, which is all about Dreadnoughts. It's Bjorn, 5 Assault Intercessors, Murderfang, and 2 Vendreads. So it's Bjorn and his 3 backing dancers, 4 Dreadnoughts in one list. Go and cast your vote. We are going to keep this running for about 2 weeks. After we've done this, we'll know what army I need to buy. I can start sourcing it. Then we'll do polls for how we're going to paint it, how we're going to base it, all that kind of stuff. Then on the last weekend of April, we're going to do another 2-day-long stream that we'll be sleeping in between, where we're going to paint this army. We're going to raffle it off as part of our stream birthday celebrations with a load of other prizes, and it's going to be mint. Let's see where the results stand now, though. Oh, okay, interesting. Sisters bringing up the rear in 5th place. Sally's in 4th. Ty with 10 votes in 3rd. Rocky will be displeased. Bjorn and his backing dancers in 2nd. But the bugs from outer space right in there in 1st place with 15. Bjorn with backup dancers sounds like a Pillarman thing. Yeah, a little bit. Or is this a way beyond basic list standard set? Yes. Because I added stuff to it afterwards. So for things like the Nid Battalion, Old One Eye wasn't in there. It was just 1 Carnifex. The Rippers weren't in there. And I thought, right, well, we get 2 Carnifexes, so we'll make 1 a HQ. I can throw in another troop choice in a way of some Rippers. Bam, done. For the Space Wolves list, ooh, more votes happening. Loving that. For the Wolves list, it was a case of, well, just add in another Dreadnought. You know, that kind of thing. That's what happened. So you can see 2 of my armies at the top. Nice. Well, follow the link. Go and vote. Make sure the army that you would like to have a chance of winning stays at the top. Oh, it's going to be such an epic weekend. I can't wait. I love doing streams like that. This one's not going to be as grueling as the Necronathon. That's for sure. Just because I frankly don't think my body can take that again. Not for a while. Also, though, just on that subject, at the end of the month, because we're going to try and do a weekend stream every month on the last weekend of the month. The end of this month, we're going to finish off the Necrons we started in the Necronathon 2. So we've got to do a little bit of recess shading, and I've got to redo some of the bits of Blackstone, and then obviously some of the OSL that goes on there because I fucked up my order for it because I was tired. And then we just got highlights to do. Try and do it over 2 12-hour streams. So yeah, if they had like a super Carnifex for Old Wanna, it'd be awesome. But I almost like the fact that they don't. And I like the fact that none of the Tyranny special characters have to be a certain hive fleet. It's like, here's Old One-Eye classification Carnifex. Build one of these. And then the Tyrannid Hive Queen, who is clearly a gigantic 3D printer, just poops out Old One-Eye. A little bit more purple. But I remember when he first came out, like as a mini, he was cool. It's cool. So the 24th April weekend, it'll be the last weekend of April. So if that is the one, that is the one. But last year's was so much fun. We painted up the World Eaters inspired custom Chaos Knight. That's been sat in Nick's cabinet ever since. And so this time we wanted to do something you could actually get on the table and play games with. So I figured, right, let's just do an army. Let's do a decent army. We got you guys to choose it in terms of literally write your own list. Then we got you guys to vote on those lists. So it's a very community-driven thing. You guys are going to get to choose how we paint them. Admittedly, if we get Space Wolves, a lot of the choices will be like different shades of grey. 50 shades of Space Dog. But there's lots of different ways of doing Space Wolves. I've done Wolf commissions that have been that kind of periwinkle blue. And then we've also done much more darker grey Space Wolves, which that's my personal preference, but again, it's you guys. Might not even paint them up as wolves. You know? I think we probably should, to be clear on that. Like my pick would be that we do paint them as some sort of Space Wolf. Yeah, the points for each list, by the way. No, that was totally secondary to my concerns, if I'm honest. Wanted a cool army. That was the most important thing. I'm guessing they're probably all around, say, 600-ish points. Doubt many of them are too far off of that. If anybody wants to do the math, because what we haven't done, you'll notice from all those lists, is put weapons on any of that stuff. There's no war gear. So the 6 warriors in that Tyranny battalion, they could all have close combat weapons, they could all have ranged weapons, they could have a mixture of both, could be like a hybrid unit. Probably wouldn't do that. So we've got those sorts of things to do as well. Like, how are we going to arm these guys? There could be more votes for that. It's all going to be community driven. That's the entire point. You guys chose the army. You guys chose the paint job. You guys chose the base scheme. Let's paint it and raffle it off. Right, cool. That's him done with him for dry. Am I doing it? Well, if anybody wants to give Des a hand, or like come up with some alternate versions of exactly those army lists. So remember, when it comes to weapons, what I don't want to do is buy extra kits just for, say, let's look at the tower one, to turn all of the drones that go alongside the commander and the broadsides into shield drones, because you don't get enough bits for that. We won't be doing that. Womposaurus, welcome back. It's about this vote. Exclamation point vote. Go vote. So, if you guys want to come up with some options for it, I'm more than happy to listen. And go with what you guys choose. Super happy for that, in fact. Right, this is that flesh tone. The flesh wash from Army Painter. We can get all over the bone. We can actually do all the parchment with this as well, thinking about it. So we got a bit more parchment to do on those boys. Let's just chuck a little more into this. Going wolves first, if someone's doing that. Okay. Daisy! Hey, dude. Vote for something, and it's neck and neck, as rather surprised. It's tight at the top, bro. Real tight at the top. Tower falling behind. Rocky's going to need to get on that advertising campaign he did to get them to the place that they're in now. Pretty hard, I think, to give them a chance to get up there. But like I said, we'll run this for a couple of weeks. I still need to get a sort of advert done, an Instagram kind of version of what we've got to make sure that people can use a link there and go and vote. And Frog Lane, if you're here, thank you very much for that information. I haven't checked it out yet, but I will do on Monday, Admin Mondays. Skuros, Fish, Goat, Big Brother Monsters, Burn the Heretics. Brilliant. Suffer not the alien. Womposaurus going full crusade, brother, on this. So what's everyone voted for? And why? Like, why do you want specifically... let's see, Nids are in the league currently. Why do you want Nids to win? Or the 4 people now that have voted for Sisters. Why do you want Sisters to win? Have you got a Sisters army? If you just thought, you know what, they'd be cool? Or you sat there going, I just want to see Jay paint some nuns with guns. Fire Dragon render ready to print. Everything custom except the arms. Even custom head, gun, and legs. Nice, dude. And I'm assuming that everything you do is just heavily inspired by GW and not like a 3D copy, because I can't support that at all. That's a definite no from me. But it looks like everything you've done has so far been heavily inspired by Studio J7. How are you doing, bro? Let's get some love in the stream for my favourite streamers. How's things? We're just talking about a giveaway we're doing. We're going to raffle off an army as part of our 2-year anniversary celebrations. So last year we did a Chaos Knight. This time it's a full army. The community have written some lists. They've voted on lists to get into a short list. Exclamation point vote. Go and cast your vote. We're going to be painting this up over the weekend of the 24th and 25th of April. And somebody's going to be taking it home. It's not my army. It's the streamers' army. It's the community army. But one member of that community gets to keep it. Very well, thank you. Very well. Start thinking about colour schemes as well, folks. So, those of you that have voted on Sisters, which order are we painting? Those of you that have voted for Salamanders, if you've got visions of green and some flames in your head, or if you got visions of a custom chapter. How are we going to do them? Start thinking about basing. Basing, one of my favourite things about doing minis. Getting some creative bases that work well. Now, we can't do anything too complicated, obviously. And I'd rather it fit the theme. So I don't really want to see, say, Tyranids on some pristine marble. I know it would happen. You know, on a planet that they've absolutely, like, crashed into and they're doing their invasion. Like, there'd obviously be some sort of ecclesiarchy or church or even just an extremely opulent set of offices or something, perhaps. You know. Take care, Ro. Will you pick winner, then they choose theme? No, I want it to be more of a community-driven thing. So, like, each one of these lists has been submitted by either myself or a community member. And whilst I'm very much in favour of doing something cool for the winner, the person that submitted the list, obviously unless it's me, I still want the community to be the ones choosing the schemes and so on. That's quite important to me. If I won and it was Tyranids, I would have little use them being outside my scheme, though. Not necessarily. There's nothing wrong with having mixed scheme armies. It's not necessarily ideal. But also, if we chose Tyranids here, then you could submit your scheme, and if enough people vote on it, then you've got absolute incentive to buy some raffle tickets and get in on the action. Studio, absolutely no issue, bro. Not sure if studio is the right name for you. J7 makes you sound like an X-Man. I can't just call you that. Mr. Studio. We're going to go with Mr. We go formal for you. Mr. Studio, sir. That's what we'll do. Do it. Makes him feel powerful. All right. I mean, he is an OG. And so pretty soon he's going to start looking like Professor X, right? Mate, you'll probably have your hair long after I lose mine. So. All I've got to do is hope it just keeps receding this way and leaves the middle bit alone. We'll be okay. Right, that's the dream. The Mohawks is just au naturel. What is hair? Hey, listen. Were you ginger before you lost your hair? Some would say don't look a gift horse in the mouth, alright? Someone up there did you a favour, bro. They gave you half your soul back. That's what happened. Daywalker. That's one of my favourite episodes of South Park. Like, absolutely one of my favourite episodes of South Park. Barry! We were literally talking about you earlier on. And your pretty spectacular sculpting ability. This is the guy, everyone. This is some of the Angel Sons, absolutely. This is the Blood Angels commission we've been working on for a while. And today, it's all kind of... Obviously, everything is batch painted when you do a commission like this. So today is get all the washes down. And that'll take most of the stream. There's a lot of different washes to do. And that leaves us tomorrow in the stream to start getting some highlights down. Should be good. Can't gain back what you never had. For fuck's sake. Savage Pants. Hey man, with enough poutine, anything is possible, including the complete regrowth of the human soul. Alright? Just keep believing. Thanks, man. I'm working out the arm holding the Asmodai sword today. It's bloody pain. Yeah, but dude, it looks so sick. Like, basically, it came up. Someone was talking about doing sculpting, and I said that I can't sculpt. I can do some simple stuff, and I mean like painfully simple stuff, like a closed hand. That kind of thing. That's sort of my limit. And if I ever needed to have something sculpted, I'd probably go to a professional, and then immediately your name came up. So you know you're the guy that I'd probably do some sort of collaboration with, given the chance. If I needed something sculpted, because I can guarantee the work is going to be phenomenal. Like you crush it every time. Who needs a soul when I have gravy and Mozza cheese? Exactly. There you go. There you go. I just didn't want people to talk about much, or haven't spoiled. But what was your opinion, up or down, for WandaVision for night? I haven't seen any of it. I'm watching it this weekend. Nobody talk about that. Please, dear God. Like, I prefer to watch a series in like a hit if we can. And so Jackie and I are going to watch it this weekend while we assemble the gargantuan amount of MDF that I've got for a Gloomhaven box insert. I thought Gloomhaven was heavy by itself at 10 kilos. This divider is 4.8. You better do reps with this box as part of your nerd keep fit regime. It's like, yo, dude, what do you bench? I bench 1 Gloomhaven. Like, that's how it's going to end up. Oh, definitely, dude. Definitely. I like working with talented people because it pushes me. Anybody know what 40 hours of 40k is? Brilliant. Mr. Studio, should just be thankful it's games on the Xbox. Wait till it's later in life and you like stop downloading that. But yeah, 40 hours of 40k is a thing that happens every year in around September, and it is a charity event to raise money for the campaign Against Living Miserably. Now, you know, we've done a charity stream raising money for those, a 24-hour stream, where due to the incredible generosity that you guys showed, we raised over £1,600, which was madness. Just amazing. So huge thanks to everyone that donated for that. But they do this every year. Now, as part of that collaboration, I need to paint 20 flayed ones. The box is out soon, and basically once the box is out, I'm having 20 flayed ones shipped to me to be painted in their scheme. Their scheme is a very interesting Necron scheme. Absolutely, man. That's the one a bunch of painters painting on. Yeah, it is this time. Usually it was just Red Eagle Studio, and he just sort of got through it. He'd do the army, and then there'd be other things that would be time donated by other painters. There's a couple of very cool single miniatures being painted up for this. I don't want to spoil the surprise in case it's not been publicized yet. That's not my place to do that. But one that I know has been put out on Instagram is a pretty fucking sexy looking Space Wolf that's been converted up. It's just, get some paint on that, please. But the Necron army itself looks banging. Really, really interested to see it all come together. We don't have to do the bases. The bases are all being done by one guy. So we've got to carefully affix these flayed ones to the bases. I looked at the list of stuff that people have got to paint, right? You're like, so-and-so painting Necron Overlord plus 5 Immortals. So-and-so painting a character and 10 warriors or whatever. Someone doing like 3 Scarabs plus something else. You got to my name, 20 flayed ones. I'm like, you fuckers. so I messaged oh shit, this is embarrassing now, I've completely forgotten his name. Red Dragon Studios, shit. Bobby. Messaged Bobby and I was like, bro, I'm totally down for doing the flayed ones, but not till we get the plastic ones, alright? He's like, yeah, that's fine, dude, honestly. It's not an issue at all. I'll tell you what, mate, if you want to put a picture in the whip gallery on Discord, we can show them. How about that? Pictures 1,000 words and all that. To access the Discord, !whip or !discord. And we'll get some quality Warhammer's porn going in there for later. I used to paint just one Marine. I tried to paint just one Marine last night on stream and I failed. I need to up my painting speed. 40 hours I could finish maybe like 2. If it's any solace whatsoever, James, I painted for 39 hours last weekend and I didn't finish a single miniature. But I did get about 3/4 of the way with nearly 90. So cool. That makes me feel better. It's not that you're good at everything, right? So right, need those two. Anyone else got? No, you've all got metal bits on your guns. Let's go grab that picky. Boom, boom. Do. You said WhatsApp. Is it in the Instagram chat that we've got, the Charity Painters chat? Just looking back through the pics now. Okay. You ready, guys? It's a video, so I'm just waiting for it to play back to the start. I mean, seriously, what the fuck? That absolutely takes the GW one and then, like, Bane style, lifts it up, backbreaker over the knee. Like, it's not like it's even a big head either. Yeah, I mean, that's a regular pin drill he's got there with that on. It's not gigantic. Those teeth are like tenths of millimeters. God, I have to click off this. It's making me sick watching it. Too much skill. Too much skill. It's about marine helmet size. Yeah, there you go. Oh, AJ, what up, brother? So yeah, that's one of the things that's going in the 40 hours of 40k raffle, and I'm buying some raffle tickets. You know, I can't. The one katana I don't have is the Deceiver. So. Oh, Drunk Mystic redeemed. Tell us a story. Drunk Mystic wants story time with Jay. Okay. Shit, was any gold bits on any of that? One of them's got a marksmanship on it or something. This dude. What would you like a story about? You do have to paint it too. That's okay, mate. That's okay. You can paint. What would you like a story about, Drunk Mystic? Give me a theme, and if I've got a story from that, we'll tell a story. As long as it's appropriate for 12:30. Your most frustrating miniature ever, and why? Oh man, how many stories do you want? So I'll give you a couple. My most recent frustrating miniature is the Plasmancer from the new Necron range. Just normally when I put a mini together, we cut out a few parts, glue it, cut the next few parts, glue it, and so on, right? With this, that was impossible. It was very much a case of cut out some parts, swear a lot because even dry fitting them, you couldn't get them into place right. Eventually work out what the bloody hell you're doing, glue it into place, and then do anything else. Literally anything else. Didn't matter what. Totally anything. Go for a walk. Play with a cat. Stab myself in the eye with the end of a paintbrush. You know, whatever else, because it was less annoying than that. Previous frustrating miniatures we've had, Mortarion was relatively frustrating, actually, because I did everything in sub-assemblies, and then I built the main body, which was both legs, pelvis, and the torso. I don't think he had a back. I think the back was just the capes. And I figured it wouldn't be too much more to also put the cape bits on. So I put the cape bits on, but the capes have got these chains that come down with these little nurgling cherub-style sensor bearers. And they would constantly get snagged on my glove when handling the miniature. And the plastic would sort of just hold on enough and spring back, and every single time it happens, like, fuck, have I broken it? And you're always, like, on edge. And I painted that for my housemate, who also holds the award for most irritating miniature I've painted ever. Which was... Hey Jay, what's your commission queue looking like? Yeah, good. Cool. I've got a couple of Heldricks I want done. Can you hear this? Alright, cool. No worries. No, I'm expecting 2 boxes of stuff with Heldrake bits. No. What I got was 2 assembled. One of them badly as well.
Yep. There was a lot of damage on one of those.
There was.
They split open.
Yeah.
Put the wrong items in.
So yeah, that was... still mold lines everywhere, you horrid human being.
Yeah, loads of mold lines. Single mold line.
Sprue joints everywhere. So we had all that to deal with. So once you've got that out, all right. Okay. Now let's paint these things. How am I going to paint these? You want some done like corn style world eaters. So all right, let's do the red with the airbrush and then the trim. And so that's what we did. The 8 kilometers of trim per Helldrake. So we painted these Helldrakes. Now, when I got given these Helldrakes, they were wrapped up in this gigantic, like, ball of bubble wrap. And there were 2 of these balls of bubble wrap crammed into a Sainsbury's bag, like a shopping bag, a plastic bag. And I finished these things, took photos of them, and to be fair, they looked banging when they were done. Lava bases, and we went a little bit more detail on the base than you see on most lava bases. We did like little specks of floating, like almost molten rock and so on. Hey, Mr. McDade, how you doing, bro? I had to go and give him back to Ben. So I went into our local where I arranged to meet him for a game and to give him his Helldrakes. And he was stood in the kitchen, and I had these Helldrakes in a box. But I also had this bag full of bubble wrap to give back to him. He was stood there waiting for some food, and I walked in, and I went, Ben, here's your fucking Helldrakes. Chucked this bag up and punted it across the room at him, and the look on his face that was worth it. That was the payoff for dealing with the Helldrakes. You've still got them, right?
Yeah, they're still for sale. If anyone wants them.
How long have you been trying to sell those Helldrakes for?
2 years. 75 quid for 2 Helldrakes.
75 quid for 2, I won't use the word pro-painted Helldrakes. They are, guys. If anybody doesn't want to have to put up with Helldrakes, Ben's got 2 for sale. Show them. They are on Instagram. That's a lot of scrolling back. Let me see if they're in my Google Photos. I'd show you the miniature, but I know they've been upstairs on a shelf for so long that there's a thick coating of dust to be removed before they even look close to being something you share on stream. 2019 seems about right. Before Hellstorm or after Hellstorm?
Before Hellstorm.
Okay. I was still at the old place. It's before all of those photos. There's some of your other death. Oh shit! I might not have the photos anymore. That might have been that weird moment where it was like some on my old phone and some on my new phone. Yeah, it was definitely before. I don't have the photo.
I'll go through my chat with you. I'll put the Discord I can.
Okay. Ben, you ready to barter? Says Night. I think at this point you take a generous reach around in a bacon. Well, not a bacon sandwich, but. Right. That guy got done. So we got this dude to do. How's that purple dried? Yes. Mate, I might even make a Chaos Army to use for painted Helldrakes. Oh, the hard work's been done. Great. I'll just do the rest of the army myself now.
I've got files, but I can't re-download them because they're missing.
Yeah, I figured. Get your softest dry brush or a can of that compressed air and go and clean them up. I'll give you 3 chickens and 2 watermelons for 1 Helldrake. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'd hold out for about a month and a half till watermelon season hits, though. Wait, live chickens? I mean, Daddy Tubbs, there you go. There you go, that's that command. Exclamation point vote. I meant to do part of it in the sort of roll-in thing down here, but if I'm honest, what we'll probably do instead is just do something that's a little bit more like this, but with vote and then a quick explanation of what your you're voting on, so we can just change that when we move the command from being vote for the army to vote for the paint scheme to vote for the basing scheme and so on, right? That's another admin Monday job. Depends if they've been in the freezer. Brilliant. Brilliant. They are dusty. I'm not surprised, mate. How many times did they see a tabletop?
Once.
From afar?
They got shot down first.
Shot down turn 2?
Yeah.
God, must have been some right bastard. Was it me?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
We had 3 Hellgoats to get all out.
God, I remember.
It's just alright.
So everything, apart from the PBCs that I've painted for Ben, we've played a game, and I haven't taken like an optimized list for it or anything, but I've killed it turn 1 or turn 2. So he brought out Mortarion. I just spent like 3 weeks painting Mortarion for him. Ben's got Mortarion. He's finally got the Primarch of the Death Guard. I've got Bobby G in my Marine army. I'm going to have a Primarch off, and I shoot Mortarion to death turn 1. Sorry about that. Orcs. But that was a standard Mortarion problem of you can't hide him anywhere. Pearl Jam, good afternoon, dude. How's it going? But yes, Helldrakes. Helldrakes cost quite a lot to have commissioned, by the way. Ben was lucky. He got in the ground floor when we were starting the business out, and we just needed stuff to go in our portfolio. So we were working cheap to build up a library of cool-looking minis. And so he did not pay the Helldrake tax, which clearly didn't exist back then either. And he got the old housemate discount. So... good mate, on guard, treat yourself. What? On Sanguinius, the voting, we're going to run it for about 2 weeks. On Monday, I'm going to create a little Instagram advert so we can spam Insta a little bit. Get more people interested, more people voting. In case anyone's not been able to catch the streams for a little bit. You know, we've all seen people come in, it's like, mate, I haven't seen you for months, I'm really sorry, life's got in the way. You know, but most people, I imagine, you know, sat on the loo at work, scrolling through Instagram. Make sure they've got an opportunity to get involved and, you know, get back in and stuff. So what's everybody else painting today? Obviously we're Dirkin? I was going to say doing, but then changed my mind to working. And we got Dirkin. Not sure about that. We're working on these Blood Angels. Going to make a reasonable push to try and get this commission finished next week if possible. Because then we've got Custo Dreadnoughts to do. And Viking, you've got your knights to do. I need to fire you an invoice over for the knights, for the deposit. We need to work out exactly what you need to send over for that. And I'll order the base bits, the Armiger bits, the base models next week. Looking forward to that. Love painting knights. Did anyone watch The Art of War's latest battle report? That featured knights. And I had such high hopes for that army. And this is the only time I'm ever going to be able to get away with saying this from a point of authority. John played it like a fucking spoon and ran into Space Wolves. going to do so well. It was going to do so well. It's a list that I have helped refine. Not with John, but with the Knight player on a WTC team. I think it's a strong one. I prefer the Styrics to the Megara. If you've only got one. So if you take in like the baby Knight list, I think the Styrics works really well, just because of the way the points fit. He did win though. Did he actually win? I got that far into the game. I'm like, God, you fucked this up. Like, damn. Fair play to him then. Fair play. Well done. But that wasn't the way to play. Jesus. Oh, I should have carried on watching then. Direct Misty says, working up the green arm in Mortizan, very small area, lots of glazes, creating nice transitions. Nice. Salt and Sassy, never any horde of nids. Oh yeah. So close to finish, but I thought I had 2 months ago. Yeah, I've been there. Not really painting anything, but my airbrushes arrived, practicing techniques, and eventually buy a decent myself a cheapo. Awesome. Awesome. Well done, mate. It's all about practice. Don't get frustrated with it. Don't get frustrated with yourself. Just remember that anything that you do that's worth doing, a talent that's worth developing, a skill that's worth refining, takes time to refine. But fair play to John then. If he won that match, well done. He brought that back from like the jaws of defeat. Genuinely thought he'd had that gone. But yeah, I do like the Forge World Knights. I'm not buying them because GW a while back, I don't know if anyone remembers this. This was like the pre-Christmas preview, right? Dinoff, exclamation point, vote. It's not decided yet. Go vote. GW on one of their previews said, we're bringing out a book. It's got a load of... It was like a Vigilus style book. So not End Times kind of Psychic Awakening style, but more like a mid-edition, here's some rules and cool shit and some scenarios and some fluff for all you people that care. All that kind of jazz. And they said that in that book, one of the things in there is a how to play a Freeblade Knight army. And as part of that, obviously they're going to have to do updated data sheets. So before I trot it off and spend 400 quid on Forge World Knights, which don't get me wrong, is tempting because I do think they're genuinely cool. Before I do that, I do just want to see what's going to happen to the regular Games Workshop Plastic Knights with their weapons. Because I think that Stomps will just be damage 3. I think they just will be. And one of the biggest draws of the Forge World Knights is the fact that their Siege Claws, aside from just looking cool as fuck, is that they're flat 3 damage. And it works the same way as a Stomp. You still get 3 attacks per attack and so on. So, you know, they're super, super good. I'd love to buy more Forge World for my Thousand Suns, but now you've forgotten about us and Death Guard for 3 editions now. How the fuck have they forgotten about a Death Guard for 3 editions? Your head is up your bum. Oh, you mean the Forge World part of it? Look, only because if you have like rules as written, which obviously I'm always a big proponent of, you should always play by the rules. It excluded you from tournament play, but I think everyone knew, like really knew, that that wasn't going to be a thing. Why would they just tell one part of their like market, no, you just can't use our toys? It's like having the No Homers Club from The Simpsons. It's not going to happen. And yes, you'd think that Games Workshop would by now at least have somebody properly proofreading their shit, but clearly that's not the case. Obviously, they still need that to happen. You know, I'm not excusing it at all. As someone that prizes accuracy, it is annoying. Any suggestions for a new guy, says K6. Also, Blood for the Blood God. Sorry, I missed that. So, anyone that's new, I'm always really jealous of. I mean that, like, genuinely. Because you guys, when you're brand new, everything is this, like, whole wide world of, fuck, this is exciting. And so my number one tip for anyone that's new is just enjoy it. That's it. Because it's an amazing hobby. I've been playing with toy soldiers for over 20 years. I turned it from a game that I enjoyed into a small business, into my actual business. This is what I do for a living. It's paint bits of plastic and talk to people on the internet. And I fucking love it. I still cannot believe that I have the opportunity to do this full time. I also can't believe that I missed painting all 3 of the fucking sword hilts on these biker dudes. Never mind, that's a job for not right now. It kind of is a job for right now. Okay, we'll do that in a sec. So just enjoy it. Absolutely, just have fun. Don't get too caught up in like the competitive side of the game, unless maybe you come from another competitive background. You know, Ben and I both had a friend that played competitive Magic before getting into competitive 40k. He did okay, to be fair. He did alright. But just have fun. There'll be a load of people, and I mean numbering in the hundreds, that will tell you how to play, how to spend your money, what toys to buy, what's good, what's bad, in their opinion. And most of them will have no fucking clue what they're talking about and just want to find a way to spend your money for you. So ignore all of that until you've got a handle on the game, and then take everyone else's opinion with a pinch of salt and find a way that suits your way. Use like the lore, that's totally cool. The lore for me is something that's usually secondary to my gameplay, because I'm normally playing at a tournament. That's it, that's my style of play. Opinions like arseholes, everyone has one. Yep, and they're usually full of shit. If you like the lore, then have a look at the Crusade way of playing. I haven't even opened that section of the rulebook because it's not my scene. If we hadn't been in a pandemic when it all came out, then we probably would have set up a Crusade League at my local. Because whilst it's not my bag, I'd rather play 40k than not play 40k. And that's a fun way of playing. And you have to narrate every strategy you use, basically say what's going on. That's cool. That's cool, I like that. I can just imagine though, for stratagems that are like on a 4+, you deny a spell. Somebody's standing there going, and by the sheer power of my will, I reach out my mind into the warp and nothing happens. Which must lead to some funny interactions on the table. But yeah, just find what you think is fun. You say you like orcs, cool, play orcs. And there are people that will tell you, and I bet there's already people that have started typing this, you must buy X number of boys, you must buy this many vehicles, you must play exactly this way, you must not buy... Don't worry about any of that. Obviously, there's certain things that you need to be able to play the game, to fill out your detachments and so on. But unless you want to start taking the game seriously, just have fun. When it comes to painting as well, the same goes. There's loads of ways of painting. We talk about this all the time. I have my way, I have my style of painting, and you can obviously watch me do that here on stream, as well as check out my YouTube, and even if you really want to, my Patreon. But save that until you're maybe a bit more experienced. Because most of what I do requires an airbrush, and so it's not necessarily beginner friendly. I wouldn't say it's beginner unfriendly, because a lot of the same principles that I use for things, we didn't do his head either with a flesh wash, carry over. But people will tell you, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you must do this, you mustn't do that, and it's usually bollocks. Darker Design, how's it going, man? New Crusade stuff is really good for what used to be Escalation League play. We used to play an Escalation League a lot at the shop. I ran 2 or 3, I think, and they are fun. For anyone that doesn't know, Escalation Leagues are where you start off with everyone having an army of, like, say 500 points, and then every week you add maybe 250 points to it, and you run it for like 8 weeks. So you end up at the final curtain with everyone having 2,000 points on the table, and it's a lot of fun. Looks very good to take stuff of other armies and use from your army lore-wise. Yeah, exactly. So you've got a billion options for stuff. Just do what you think is cool. That's literally all that matters. Is if you think it's cool, then it's cool. So there's a limit there, though, for me at least. We talked about this on the last stream. We've all seen orc players, and it's usually orc players that have gone into like their local cheap shop of toys for £1 or whatever, and gone, here's what I really want is some big fucking dinosaurs. I'm going to go home, I'm going to cover them in super glue and spaff, I'm going to throw them into my bits box and shake it, and that's my conversion. That's a Morkanaut. No, it's not. I know Ben appreciated that more than anybody else here, and that still makes it worth it.
Oh, God.
He's getting flashbacks in the background. Drunk Mystic, they absolutely will. Like I never blame games on bad dice, but there has been one in recent memory. It's like, well, I just got fucked by the dice. Everything worked well, but I got completely fucked by the dice. It does happen. A good general finds ways of dealing with it. But 4 times in a row out of 8 hits, I got 1 wound, but I needed 4s to wound. That's severely skewed averages. Like, my way of dealing with bad dice is having redundancy, having extra things to shoot. It doesn't matter. Take someone pizza if they showed up with a good-looking orc cybersaur army. I like the way you tried to put that in bold. Because that's the important part, right? One has only 2 non-helmet heads in heavy intercessor sprue, because there's only so much room on a sprue, Tim. And frankly, I'd much rather they spent room on that sprue putting on helmeted heads than not helmeted heads. If you want, you can have my no helmeted heads. I'm never going to use them. Ever. Totally not interested in that. Anyone that goes into battle without their lid on deserves to be shot in the face. Codex Astartes specifically states, "Thou must don thy sacred health and safety gear. Thou must have thy helmet and thy hazard stripes shown at all times. The battlefield is a hard hat area. It is also a high-vis area. There's 10 helmet heads in the boxes. I only counted 7. 5, 6, 7. I got 7. Fuck Bobby G, werewolves. Listen, you need extra space for the teeth that are clearly growing into fangs, and for your man buns. So it's okay. You're not allowed to wear helmets because hipster man bun. That's totally fine. God, I bet you're so angry at your keyboard right now. High vis, V-I-Z, short for high visibility, like safety gear. You know, like the day glow bright yellow and orange, like vest that people wear on building sites, that kind of thing. My Marines only have bare heads, so I can't practice faces. Sure, I could just glue to a sprue, but where's the fun in that? Absolutely, it's a good way of doing it, forcing yourself into it. What's the best loadout for Tyranny Warriors? No one knows. Ask that one guy that plays Tyranny. It's Adam... somebody. He's American. In one of the Iron Man novels, he's running about shooting Space Force in the face and laughing about how they never wear their helmets. Oh, amazing. That's brilliant. I'm so glad they've put that in the lore somewhere. God, I've got one of them on audiobook. Exile, I think. The neon orange stuff. Yeah, that's it. Sarah! Who is Iron Man? Iron Man is a very naughty boy. And he's the reasons that Thousand Sons have to endure an eternity of jokes about like dust bunnies and how their mortal enemy is Vacuum, the powerful. Iron Man is a good boy, says Viking. Iron Man is not a good boy. Sarah, how are you? How's your weekend going? Everyone, this is Sarah from Rival Crafts, who makes literally the best baking stuff. Is your pigment range ready yet? Come on, I literally want to buy things from you. You've been promoted to sergeant. Turn in your ranged weapon and helmet. Here's a pistol and a kitchen knife. Yeah, well done. God, if I was an Imperial Guardsman, I'd try my hardest to stay at corporal. Right, we're going to give you a soft hat, and we're taking away your las rifle. Are you fuck, son? Yes, the guy that dustified the Thousand Sons. Yeah. Iron Man's Rubric, I think it was called. Or the Rubric of Iron Man. Or just the All Is Dust spell. It could have been worse, though. I mean, he turned them all into dust. That's pretty, like, bad, don't get me wrong. But he could have turned them all into things like biscuit crumbs, which are 1,000 times more irritating. Can you imagine spending all of eternity as a pile of biscuit crumbs? How itchy that would be. Oh. Speaking of helmets, do you accept unhelmed captains if have an iron halo? I put a helmet on everything. Oh, my librarian conversion for my Grey Knights, I took the Terminator librarian face and then dremeled right through the middle of it, carved out all of the inside of the helmet just so I could fit the psychic hood over a Grey Knight Terminator helmet. Like a Paladin helmet, I think. Because... oh, he's buried. I'm not going to get him out of there. Because, you know, that... oh, no. No. Fun fact, Space Force and Thousand Sons are both afraid of the vacuum cleaner. Yeah, I know, It's almost, labels designed almost ready for print. It looks so good. We're nearly there. Little one goes back to school on Monday. Suddenly I've got more time on my hands. Nice. Nice. Can't wait. Give me the heads up, because, again, I'll spend some money. What I need to do as well is just drop some recess shades into these. We're kind of flooding them a little bit. We're doing it on purpose because we want a very dark area for the tread. And the wash is thin. So it's 1 part wash, which obviously is already relatively thin. The army painted ones are a little bit thicker than most, but this one's not too claggy. And it's 4 parts that, 1 part water. No, 5 parts that, 1 part water. So it does settle in there really, really well, and it doesn't come out super. Oh dear! Imagine if when Thanos snapped, everyone just became biscuit crumbs. The other half left alive would be horrible. Like, just no. I honestly got so happy with the face on my sister battle. I made 2/3 of them without helmets. That's fair. That's fair. There are some good versions of helmetless heads in that, and then there are some that I can't get behind the design aesthetic of. We've made this lass look like she competed for the shot put for the Russian Olympics circa 1984. It was 84. Did I get that right? Yes, I did. 1990. No, I didn't. 2000 had an Olympics. So yes, I did get it right. Just quick hello. I've written my to-do list. I've so much to make. Hey, no worries. Thanks for dropping by and saying hi, Sarah. Again, everyone, exclamation point Rival or exclamation point Tufts, go and have a look at Sarah's amazing bush. Wait. Not like that. But seriously, the absolute best basing stuff that you can get your hands on, like bar none. This was a bag of doorknobs. Oh, I see. Look, bad puns are what everyone comes here for. Otherwise, Gumbalina would have no home in the stream. At all. Besides which, Sarah's heard all the shit jokes like this before. And is certainly not one to be offended. Like, at all. Just a bunch of bees. Cheers for the follow and welcome to the stream. But anyway, going back to Dez's question earlier on, Dez is clearly starting to write army lists for all these things. Does anyone know what is good as a loadout on Tyrannid Warriors? Because Tyrannid Warriors themselves aren't... It's not like they're a meta choice right now. What, they T5, 2 wounds? So... Well, maybe they've got 3. Maybe they've got 3 wounds, which means, again, they fall into that trap of everyone's teching to kill your Death Guard stuff, which means it works really well against your Tyrannid Warriors that don't have armor either. So, yeah, that's not ideal. Only when the Tufts run dry. Brilliant. There you go, guys. If you want to see it, you've just got to buy Sarah out of Tufts. That's it. Toughest 4, 3. Oh, Jesus. That's even worse. Mr. Brutal, how you doing, bro? Exclamation point vote. Go and vote for the army you'd like to see us paint and raffle off on our birthday celebration stream. We've narrowed down to a list of 5. Des is currently writing army lists for him, but don't let it just be Des. If you think, actually, you know what, Jay, I'd love it if we had nothing but ranged warriors. So give them all Death Spitters and a Venom Cannon. Maybe there's somebody else there. It's like, actually, you're doing this commander for the tag. I really, really think that like Quad Flamer is the way to go. So do 4 Flamers. Bear in mind that if it's something like that and I've got to buy extra bits, like Cyclic Ion Blasters cost a fucking fortune because you get 1 in the commander box. How much you getting for those Hell Drakes? 175 or 75 quid for the pair?
75 quid for the pair, not including shipping.
75 quid not shipped, so you have to pay for shipping as well. Have you cleaned them up?
Oh, you want them? It's photos if you want them.
Oh, you WhatsApp them?
What's that to you?
Where are the photos?
Oh, they're not posted yet. If people want them, I can post them.
Stick them in general, I'll put them on stream. Generally run Death Spitters with Scything Talons and one with a Venom Cannon in groups of 4. Nice. But yeah, this is the sort of thing that we need now, guys. So whilst we're working out which army to buy, start thinking of the ways that you'd like them assembled. For the Sisters, for instance, do you want a multi-melter in the Sister Squad? Do you want Heavy Bolter in there? Bear in mind, we need 1 box to do both the... I forgot what they're called. Not Celestians, but like the Super Sisters. Fuck, what were they called? Into the Sea. It is Celestians. Okay, there you go. Like maybe they want a Heavy Bolter. Maybe you want Flamers on your Sister Squad. Whatever. Come up with some fun ways of equipping the list. If somebody in the chat is expert, say, on Tyranids and wants to have a bit of a deep dive into what we're doing there for our NID list, we'll take some suggestions. It's all good. Then says going with Death Spitters and Rending Claws, Venom Cannon per 3, and 1 triple Bone Swords and Whip per 3. Triple Bone Swords? Damn. Any recommendations for alternative for GW Lead Belcher, for example, from scale 75? Actually, the literal best silver paint that's of the same kind of hue that I've come across is Vallejo Model Air Metallic Gunmetal. It is absolutely spot on, dude. It's what we've base coated all of these metallics with, and this was 1 coat over red. You know, I mean, can't argue with that. So... have you put them in the chat?
Yeah, they're in general.
Alright, let's have a look. So here is one of the Hell Drakes. There's 2 painted pretty much identically. And you can see what a fucker these things were to paint. These were fully assembled when I got them as well. But there you go, they look cool. This is definitely, you can see this is my earlier work because the airbrush blending is not bad, but it's nothing like what we do now. Let's pop this guy up in a bigger shot. Look at the wing. That's not bad at all. But yeah, very cool minis, these. Very cool minis. Look at that base. Look at that base. Oh, that's a quality lava base. So there's little specks just making that lava look a little bit more interesting. There you go. A pair of these, 75 quid. Like I said, you've got to pay for the shipping. But if you feel like you want them, speak to Flipst, or Flip said, in the chat there. Yeah, message him. Personally, I think that's dirt cheap. If anybody was even thinking of a Chaos Army at some point this edition, you want to get on that shit. Helldrakes in a regular Chaos Army were not good. Currently aren't good, in fact. And one of the things that GW tends to do is take the stuff that's not doing very well and buff it, because obviously people then buy the models that they thought were bad last edition and didn't buy. So I'm not saying Helldrakes are going to be secretly good, because I have no fucking clue. I don't think anyone can predict what Games Workshop can pen out with now. At all. Don't get me wrong, there's things I know about what's coming out down the line, and these are things that I can't talk to people about. Not that I have like insider knowledge from GW, I just have insider knowledge from some people that have insider knowledge at GW. So there are some things coming out that I won't be surprised about. There'll be some things coming out that I will be surprised about and have had no insider knowledge of. But I know absolutely nothing about when and what the new Chaos Codex is going to be, other than the fact that we know there's going to be one. That's it. Fat on Death, yeah, cool. Not thinking of an army, I just like the look of them. Yeah, wait till you paint and trim. That opinion changes fucking quick. But it's an integral part of the model, and it is something that makes them really stand out. So it is very important. And it does look very cool when it's finished. That kind of Baroque armor is very, very, very 40k. Blood Angels, Imperial Sanction, Khorne Berserkers changed my mind. To be fair, they're slightly more civilized. They do put the blood in a chalice before drinking it, if it's not straight from the vein. Other than that, they're way better on the tabletop. Oh, darker design, that's just unfortunate. Any preferences on the Carnifex loadout? To be honest, mate, for me, I'm just going to go with like Rule of Cool on it. I think a close combat effects looks a lot more impressive than a DAC effects. However, when I had my Tyrannid army all the way back when the plastic models for Tyrannids were first released, like that Carnifex kit, when that was brand new, I had a couple of them. I was one of the first people to run the DAC effects. So 2 sets of twin Devourers, and then just absolutely like something like 24 shots a turn. Mixed Carnifex and Shooting Melee. That is a very good point. And we've got Old One Eye, who is, I believe, just full melee anyway, right? So having him as mixed, that's not bad at all. It was something I thought I'd missed in Black's helmet events, but of course he's not wearing his helmet. Get the pipes. Nothing scares me that I have more than 2 Carnifex running down the centre of the board. Wait, nothing. She's a very composed lady. Or person, at least. Make sure the mixed weapon isn't blast. Yeah, for definite. I'm gonna... I couldn't even tell you what the Tyranny weapon loadouts are. Here's the guy we haven't painted. Like if I was playing a Tyranny player and they just made it up on the spot, like yep, sure, whatever. Unless it was like it does what now? You're gonna have to show me that book. Obishi. Cool. He's a very, very composed dude in that case. But I remember absolutely loving my Carnifexes back in the day. I bought... They had the old Tyrannid Battle Force was 3 Tyrannid Warriors. I want to say it was 8 Gene Stealers, 8 Termagants, 8 Hormagaunts, and a Carnifex. I think that's what you got in the box. And I converted one of my Tyrannid Warriors into a Lictor, using a Gene Stealer's, like the Yarmgirl Gene Stealer's face, the good old Zoidberg. Put that on there. There was a set of Tyrannid Rending Claws, which were just these like hunched arms, big fat hands on them, which I used, and then a pair of, I think I had to use like the Carnifex side talons. Did them kind of upwards, a little bit like Death Leaper, and then used a bit of Carnifex armor plate, just sat up on the back of his head to make his head look a little bigger, and it gave it this nice little spike. And he looked great. He was cool. Loved him. But it was a good 1,500 point army out of those 2 boxes. I was very happy with this. Wait, what were the HQ choices? Oh, I had a Patriarch. That was it. Maybe that's where the claws came from. Oh, I don't remember. Monsters Raining Claws are very good performance price-wise. So I have to make the claws. Only 2 monsters. Yeah. Is a DAC effects with a big beehive like weapons. The one I had the Devourers, which are the ones that are like a cone with lots of little holes in it. Chainsaws, Hazard Stripes or no Hazard Stripes, can't decide. That's not even a question. Iron Oscar 74, you should definitely put Hazard Stripes on your chainswords. I'm not, this is a commission, they're not my minis. Before anyone says, but Jay. But my choice, Hazard Stripes. Always. Hazard Stripes are the coolest thing. Look at the stream display. Love Hazard Stripes. Forge Breaker. The only thing that has kept me from collecting NIDs the last couple of times was tempted. The Termagants, they're good, but me no like it. That's fair. For me, like I had a NID army, which I bought right when the Codex dropped in 8th. I'd wanted a NID army for a while. I'm like, right, cool. Codex is out. Here we go. Worked out a list that I really, really loved the play style of, and it was a super alpha list. And my own like narrative, my own sort of headcanon for this list was that it's like Planet 4 Tyrannid. So day 1 of the invasion, the ball bag drop pods coming out the sky and everything. The entire list was designed to hide on the table or to deep strike turn 1. So we had the burrowing dude, begins with a T, Trigon, with a load of Gene Stealers in his tunnel. We had Drop Pod with Swarm Lord in. We had another lot of Gene Stealers. So we had like 40 Stealers. No, 60 Stealers. We had 60 Gene Stealers. That's cracking. And that was the entire point of the list. That's exactly how I wanted to play it. I bought everything. I assembled everything. And literally played 1 game with it. And then about a week after that game, they changed the rules to you can only... Oh, that was it. We had 2 Hive Tyrants that also deep strike in. You could only deep strike X amount of your army and only from turn 2 onwards. And I looked at my list and went, well, I can't play any of that. Alright, now I'll go back in the box to work out how I want to play my Tyranids now. And that made me a very sad Jay. because I only got one game in with that army. And I played against a friend that liked competitive 40k and was really up for a fully like hardcore game. And he conceded in his turn 2. Is like, I'm fucked. I can't do anything about this. You've won. Right. There's no point in me playing now. There's one thing I didn't like about him is that any time it got to a point where he couldn't win, he lost interest in the game. It's like, yeah, you win. Fuck it. Oh, I've got shit to do. I've got to go and do insert made up task. Whereas I played to the end to see like how much you could kill. Like, really let them test out the list. But I fucking loved it. It was great. That was my like fluffy but pretty hardcore Tyranid list. Did have a Tyrannofex in there as well, I think. Tyrannofexes are cool. Really cool. Big fan of all the Nidzilla star monsters, actually. That's the only other kind of Tyranid list that I'd actually run is the Jurassic Park style. Carfex Planet is for Dakavex with the Spore screen. I have no idea what that is, but cool. What gold would you recommend for a dark weathered look? Some Sandguard. I'd probably go with my bad guy gold recipe for that. If you want it to look darker, I think it's a way that really, really works well. I tend to use it for bad guys because it is kind of dark and it is a little bit sinister looking. More like a relic from something like Hellraiser than like this holy relic of the Imperium. But I'd use Negro Gold from Scale and wash it with Darktone. Works really well. Ben's using that now on his Night Lords, I think. It's also a decent gold because Scale and their golds. Been in situations where I'm sure I'm going to lose, but somehow I turned it around and never give up. Like in tournaments, I absolutely will never give up. In a friendly game, I'll give my opponent the option. Because depending on how quickly that's happened, we might get to re-rack and go again. So if they've completely trolleyed me, and this doesn't happen often now, fortunately, which is nice. AKA Greeja. Welcome. Thanks for the follow. But yeah, if I'm getting an absolute battering and all they're going to do is mop up and they're not going to learn anything else about their army at that point, then I'll give them the option of like, do you want me to concede and start again, or should we carry on? T-Bird getting a prime sub. Thank you very much, dude. Really appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. Not a name I recognise, so if this is your first time here, nice to meet you. You've just joined one of the friendliest and bestest communities on Twitch as far as I'm concerned. Just in case anyone's missed it, the reason we're talking about Tyranids is because for our stream birthday, which is in a couple of months' time, we're going to paint in a weekend and then raffle off an army that the community has chosen. Now we're in the middle of finalising our choice. We've had the community writing army lists. We've had the community voting on those to get us down to a short list of 5 armies. If you put in an exclamation point vote, you can go and cast your vote and choose the army that's actually going forward. Now we're going to leave this vote open for the next couple of weeks to make sure everyone, the whole community, as it's you guys that have decided this, has got a chance to vote. And then I'll buy some toys. Jay, would you mind terribly if I sent you a message on Insta regarding recording equipment, etc.? Yeah, for sure, man. Like, if I'm honest, we can chat about it now. I've got no issue with it. I certainly don't keep it a secret. But if you're looking for something specific, like let's say you've got a particular process in mind that you want to record, maybe you might need different kit to what I've got. But essentially, this camera is a Panasonic Lumix GX85 or a GX80, depends on which country you're in. They have different names for it, just to make it confusing, which is super good. Normal game, it's a straw poll, so you can just go there and click the buttons. Paris 33-1. Cheers for the follow. Paris as in Wales. But yeah, that's a Panasonic Lumix. You will need a HDMI cable. I can't remember if there's one in the box. Certainly if there is, I don't think it was long enough to reach the PC, because you're also going to need a capture card. Now, you can buy an inline USB capture card, but I wouldn't. Not that they're not good. Mikey uses one. It's just for anything like that, I'd rather just have it built into the PC and have an actual card rather than just a dongle. Just the added security that affords me, the fact it's not going to get like knocked around. For me, I prefer that. If you need audio, get yourself a decent microphone. I've got a Yeti Blue microphone. These are quite expensive. I got mine second hand off of somebody that had used it twice, basically. So we absolutely got in on a steal for that. I'm well aware. And then you'll need cables and so on for that. For lighting, you've got some pretty good hobby lamps from the look of your photos. You should be all right. But I've got two studio lights. They are, excuse the bright glare, light panels like this. These are newer light panels. They're adjustable for both brightness as well as like heat. So you can do like warm, sort of yellow light, or you can do cold blue light. They got a range of something like 3,000 to 5,500 Kelvin. That will mean something to somebody. I just use it to gauge what I'm filming. And then, like, I've got a lot of boom arms on my desk. Most of it is microphone stands, actually, rather than boom arms. I've got two light stands, one for each light. We've got a microphone stand for the microphone and a microphone stand for the camera, because mic stands are built to hold a lump that, as you can see, is sizable. Yeah, and this thing weighs. So mic stands better for that kind of thing. And I figured if we're going to support a camera, despite the fact that it weighs half a kilo, I'd much rather go over on the stand for it, making sure that I don't need to worry about that camera's stability. And then things like adapters, power adapters, cables, and so on. There's my desk looks like Dr. Octopus, basically. There's shit everywhere. So that's the other thing you need, is plenty of room. Hopefully that helps. If you've got any other questions, though, mate, like, honestly, get in touch. Streaming software, I use Streamlabs OBS. I use that to record for my YouTube and Patreon videos. Yeah, it works. As far as not being the best with tech goes, I'm kind of with you on that. There's a lot of stuff that I understand, and there's a lot of stuff that I don't. And I just sort of learn as I go. And I'm finding that the more I learn, the more intuitive the next thing becomes, which is nice, because normally you find that once you've learned, there's a lot more learning to do, and I really like the fact that that's not the case, especially when it comes down to like Photoshop and Premiere and so on for video and photo editing. Really, really, really liking both of those bits of software right now. Yeah, in Premiere the other day, I had to edit a photo which was to do with the Marine Tanks episode. So anyone that's on Patreon, yesterday the video went up. It should have been 10 a.m, but due to power cut Thursday, we only got it up at about 8 in the evening. Because not only did we have to edit the video and upload it, Patreon and Vimeo decided they were going to have a bit of a spat with each other, and it just would not go up. It would upload and just sit there processing in the background, and eventually the way I managed to fix it was upload directly to Vimeo and then link it across rather than doing it all through Patreon's front page. So that just caused a loss of time. That was fine. But in that video, there's a picture of an Ultramarines repulsor executioner I did for a client a couple of years ago. I don't think it was last year. I think it was a year before. We did 2 of them for 2 different people at the same time. That's always cool when you get commissions that line up like that, because you can just batch paint it and you're good to go. But because that photo was taken using an old camera, in fact an old camera phone that didn't even have much of a camera system in it to begin with, it was blown out, it was too bright and things like that, and I managed to use Premiere Pro to edit the photo, and it felt kind of natural. It wasn't a gigantic ball ache, which is what I was expecting it to be. So I've never wanted to do the premium or even the Twitch. Is it Twitch Prime? Not like the Prime Gaming Prime, but whereas a broadcaster, you have access to this extra stuff. And the reason behind it is that a lot of it seems to be, if you are part of Twitch Prime, then you get use of a load of overlays that they've created and stuff like that. Well, I just have a designer that does this. Although next time round, I'm definitely thinking I just put some time in on Admin Mondays and kind of do it myself. The video animation is something I'm not. I went track for a month, but it got 12 months non-refundable straight up. Fuck. Hang on, non-refundable? Not even like 2-week trial period? Because you've got, I mean, I don't know where they're based, and it might be different because of the country they're based in and so on. But certainly UK based, 2 weeks of statutory, like, fuck it, I don't want this anymore time. It's pretty difficult explaining sculpting, and I'd much rather record something. Yes. God, yes. And mate, it's hard enough sometimes explaining painting, and painting is simple, I think. Not a lot of what we do is an advanced concept when it comes to just some brushes and some pigments, right? Some of it takes a little bit of talking around, but the majority of it is just add this color, do this, move your brush this way, use less paint, use more paint, you know. Add water. Biggest bit of advice, add flow improver. There you go. I can't imagine doing that with sculpting. Especially like by hand, which is what you do, rather than like digital sculpting. I don't know why this was the motion for digital. You got your free merch. Yeah. Brilliant. No such thing as free, man. We pay for it one way or the other. That's it. Using the digits. Could be. The Universal Digital Sculpting sign from the moment on. That'll do. That's it. That's what I'm famous for now. On this day, the 6th of March, the universal sign for digital sculpting was created by Jay from Mohawk Miniatures. Remember this, people. When you see a TED talk and they're talking about digital sculpting, that's me. Jesus Christ, man, that's terrible. Fucking small print. This is the manual for the flayed ones. Man, fuck that. It's that proper, like, Zach Galifianakis, Nanifakis, Ganymede. I don't remember his bloody surname, and I certainly don't know how to pronounce it. Sort of thinking face with all the equations, like, bimbling around in the act. Oh. I didn't even look at the manual. Oh my god. Him. The Zach. The Z. Speaking of names, Alex Karandras. Hello. How you doing? Welcome to the stream, dude. Yeah, I looked at the sprue. We Zach Galafak, yes. That's close enough. Hey, hello, I'm roaming into the Warhammer category on Twitch, and what do I see? Blood Angels have stopped by. Get back to 40k and me's painting Blood Angels after 18 years. Nice, dude. Welcome. This is part of a bigger commission. We've got bikes, marines, characters, a tank, and we filmed a lot of this for some guides on YouTube and Patreon. So if you're just getting back into it, I'd really recommend checking out the YouTube guides that we've done. Did one on how to paint marines, exactly these marines. In fact, it was this guy that we used as the base of our tutorial video. So if you want to learn how to paint exactly this, then head over to YouTube, where you'll get the first part of the video, which is all about doing the armor on there. The rest is on Patreon. So both how to do all of the extra bits and pieces on there, and then also we did a guide that went up yesterday, how to paint any marine vehicle using this as our sort of model for it. So I do like Blood Angels. I do like them. One of the other big army commissions I've done in the past was a full Blood Angels army. Loads of Sangard, Death Company. Fucking love the Death Company. They're sick. Super big fan of the Death Company. The only big issue with the Blood Angels range is that most of your characters that are named characters are fine cast and are also on 25mm bases. So everyone that's converting up the Sanguinor out of Fulgrim, and they're like, yeah, 60mm base Sanguinor. No. No. Can't do that. 25mm is the base he's supplied on. That's what's got to be on the table. It sucks. That's why my Nightbringer is on a 40mm base, because that's what he's meant to be on. Looking how you come along with Sanguinius' Sons. Nice. Got a lot of Blood Angels fans in the chat today. This is good. We've got them on stream tomorrow night as well, because we're still assembling last week's giveaway prizes. We've got a Shock Jump Dragster we need to paint on stream. We gave away. That was to one of our Patreons. That went to Liamski. And then we've also got a Reichner, the horsey boy. Grimhaler? It's not Grimhaler. I don't know. Some Sigmar dude on a ghost horse, which looks fucking cool. Seriously cool. It's one of the best minis in their range. Hands down for me. So we got both of those to paint. Sanctuary conversion looks better built out of Stormcast Judicator. I don't know. I've got a friend that's converting one out of Fulgrim, and he's done a really, really good job. Like, really good job. Baz, you reckon Primaris Dante? Like, I think if they were going to have done it, they'd have done it. They went with the Mephiston. Frankly, I think Dante, that they're like sort of looking at the ride and it says like, you must be this young to ride this ride, and he's old AF, so I can't see. I don't know if they'll do Dante, but what can they do? They can't kill a mini. Can anyone think of a named character that's been just like X'd out of 40k? There have been a couple of Chaos ones. Like Doomseeker, I say. I think he's just been like taken out the codexes. Tycho, fucking hell, yeah. Wasn't he like Tycho the Lost? He got lost. Vect, yes, they removed Vect. Vect was on the Pleasure Barge. Tycho's a Dread now. Okay, but there's no like Dread character rules data sheet. Young Cassius around, not dead, but it's an old man version now. Okay. Is that Tycho the Lost? So yeah, there's obviously a couple then of characters that no longer exist. So there is precedent for it, but there aren't many. As for Sanguinol being like Primaris sized, I couldn't tell you. I know that the actual model is smaller than this guy. He's taller because he's in like a stretched up pose, but like his joints are smaller than this dude's for sure. His joints, his like individual bones, his components, the bits that make up the Sanguinol. He's also Finecast, and therefore is fucking terrible to paint, especially those wings. Tried to kill Aldrad and had to bring him back. I don't remember that, but okay. I know Aldrad is like mostly a tree now, or whatever their crystalline forest thing makes happen. So Tycho is dead. Okay. Vect is still definitely alive in the lore. Like 100%. Brother Bethor from Dark Angels. Okay, totally didn't know about that. Or even who that is. No, I don't think they become Wraithbone. I think they do just become some weird crystal. Like the Farseers sort of grow up and become crystal trees or something. Loads of Valor characters died in recent lore, just be brought back to life. Fair. It's all. Oh, Forgebreaker, get out. Get out. You banned. That was that. Oh, that was terrible. That hurt. That hurt so much. Does anyone else remember a very, very, very old game from the 80s? A big clunky thing called Simon Says. Because that's what these landmines look like. Basically, it would light up like you had a blue, red, green, and yellow symbols. One would light up, you'd have to tap it, and then it would do 2, and it'd be different ones. So you like blue, red, and it'd be another one, it'd be blue, red, green. You have to try and remember it all, and that's what this looks like to me. And yes, 80s, I'm old. I know I look 25, and I act like I'm 7, but still. Didn't they run on batteries that were like the super clonky D-size batteries? I know it was a big deal when we ran out of battery and my dad had to buy another battery because they were fucking expensive. Prefer if it looked like a Bop It. So it was kind of Bop It for people that grew up in my day, and frankly it didn't make anything like as many annoying noises as a Bop It. And so my parents would definitely have preferred that over a Bop It. GK's meant Retributors for conversion for Sanguinary with wings on a muscle shape. I'm pretty sure I've seen them. They're the ones with like the really fanned out wings that come up. I've seen a few of those. If it clicked wrong, it would explode. I mean, it looked like it might. It looked like it could have. It was massive, though. Most of my old ones were 9 volts with a little... Oh, that could have been it. Excuse me. But yeah, they were fun. But that's what that thing reminds me of, is that. I mean, you could just knock at the door, but whatever that apocalyptic booming of the letterbox was just then was... That's wild. Fuck's sake. Projam, I never heard of that. Is there someone at the door, Ben? Brilliant. Just someone being a cunt. Well, if it happens again, they'll have to practice their social distancing at high speed. So, oh, Jay's going for a run, has he? Yeah, he's chasing some little shit down the road. It's his Beyblade dish, he's about to let it rip. Awesome. Fair enough, Alex. I know a lot of people have used... I think I said Fulgrim. What I meant was the new guy. The Slaneshi dude. I'm super fabulous. Sigvald. I've used Sigvald as the base for him. Because the guy himself isn't mahusive. He's not. Why did he take his bat for a run? Yeah. Jay, where are you taking that medieval halberd? Go for a run. I'll catch him now. I've got reach. Yeah. Yeah, Sigvald's not gigantic, so he fits. Like you're going to run. Hey. With enough anger, I can do pretty much anything, including run. Thank you very much. But don't do it often, and I certainly don't do it for long periods of time. For many reasons. Mostly being a bit chunky. But quite a lot of the reason is my ankle is fucked. New Sigvald has those stupid, sexy Flanders vibes. Yes, it does. I think Ben's going on the hunt. Like now if you see Ben running after somebody, like... Oh, you better run. If he catches you. Pain trains are coming. Yeah, I think the only thing about the new Sigvald Mini for conversion to Sanguinor, because he even looks okay on a 32mm base, it's not that bad, is the fact that he still looks ridiculous on a 25mm. And that is currently what he should be on. But I think almost any Marine character looks dumb on a 25mm base. I remember back in the days of like 3.5, I was already putting characters on 40mm bases, which was a Terminator base back then. Because they just looked better. So hang on, the Amazon man knocked at the door and hid a parcel in the garage. Go Amazon Logistics, like you rock. Remember plastic Terminators going on 25mm, mate? I remember metal Terminators going on 25mm. We've already established. Yeah, the 80s, right? Comradeson, how you doing, bro? You were raided by the Amazon man. Frequently. The Amazon man, there are many different Amazon people. And some of them are good, some of them are less good. Usually it's a case of we've knocked at your front door and we've left it on your doorstep if we even think you had an option of coming and opening the door. And that's totally fine, because like, one of us is always in. We both work from home, full-time. So no props. At least you got a knock. This time, yes. The old Amazon Logistics man that decided my doorstep was the best place for 400 quid's worth of Deathwatch minis. He was due a fonging. My Hermes. No. Pass stuck on roof, sorry. Merlin Miniatures, it's Sigvald. He is a Slaneshi champion. You should just be happy he's wearing pants at all. That's my takeaway from that. Assless Chaps is a step up from where it could have been. You at least put the doormat on top of it. This massive element box with a... What did you win?
GSE, coconut bar.
Coconut bar?
Yeah, coconut, like, there's like coconut, break up and then mix with like milk.
Oh, okay.
Coconut fruit, and small jars.
Small jars?
Small jars.
Okay. Are you making are you starting a micro jam business?
No, small jars for chia pudding.
Oh, is this the breakfast thing you were on about the other day?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. No pants is great. I mean, you know, if you're happy and you know it, just let yourself show it. At least he knocked. Mate once was told that the guy knocked and my mate was sat in the front room, the door open. I was like, yep. His butt cheeks are still out. So, they are, but you can essentially put it on as an undersuit underneath, and you could just paint it gold and get away with it easily enough. Because the Sangard bodies aren't necessarily completely... Oh fuck, we didn't paint this this strap. Never mind. Like they've got a lot of armor that looks kind of softer armor. Like they're weird knee pads with the cross on them. Stuff like that. I remember Metal Terminators being $2.99 for 2 and Marines were $2.99 for 3. Yeah, I know. It's okay, mate. If it helps, I remember Metal Minis being like 8 pence. Love that. Just buying on weight discount from G-Dubs. That was back where you wanted all the armies that were coming out to have metal kits because you knew you were getting them at like a hundredth of the price. You want to see something slightly? Can you see just here? Ben just pushed the door ever so slightly too. She can't get in. Hello, you. What about that? Yeah. Buying on weight was sweet. So they used to do weight for plastic as well. So all you paid for, basically what we're talking about is if you worked for GW during the right time, you would put an order through for mail order, and one of the trolls in the mail order room, because legit that's what we called them back then, mail order trolls. Can't do that now. But one of the guys in the mail order room would take a bucket, walk around the warehouse, chuck all your stuff in a bucket, put it on scales at the side of the till, and be like, cool, £5. And that £5 was... Baz, yeah, man, I worked in Lenton for about 2 months, helping out painting stuff for like the big displays that they used to do. So I painted 200 or so Goth Orc boys, and there was a lot of checks that got painted in that time. Yeah, exactly. Phone our mail order trolls. Yeah. So yes, we have done the warehouse run where they give you a bucket and you just wandered round. Fuck it, I feel like I need all of this. What is it? I don't even know. That was the fucking glory days. But that, to be fair, made up for the fact that you were being paid absolutely F all. Like, God almighty, they were ripping us off. Well done, you've worked for 40 hours this week. Here's 12 pence and a Kit Kat. That's kind of how it felt. Was it like Supermarket Sweep? Yes, but with stuff you actually wanted. Yeah, they used to do rules queries. You could phone up mail order and say, I don't know how to play this. What do I do? And they tell you what you would do. Got a Dwarf Slayer army, didn't like. So I never even assembled this. No, shit, I did. I assembled one unit. One unit. I also had a Dwarf Slayer army. I had 3 units of Slayers because they're all metal, and then I had a load of Longbeards, Hammerers, Iron, whatever they were, and I built all of my units on hills. So this one unit I assembled, I made a hill out of pink foam. Fuck it, some sort of insulation foam. Carved all that, covered it in like PVA and sand, and then cut it up. No, I cut it up and then covered it in PVA and sand. Put it on the bases, and each dwarf sort of sat on the base. So the dwarfs were kind of sat like on this rising unit tray. Excuse me. I did one unit, and I'm like, oh, fuck all that work. There's fucking pink shit everywhere, all over the house. Like, oh, I'm not doing that again. But the entire army, including cannons and stuff like that, cost me about 45 quid. So, fuck it, whatever. Don't care. Right, it is 2:10. We're going to do this unit, so finish these guys. That leaves me. Actually, I'll tell you what. There's only 3 here, and then 5 more dudes. We'll finish off the Blackwash. We're doing that, and then we will go into the work in progress gallery. So if you've got something you'd like to show off, !whip. Make sure you join the Discord and go to the work in progress gallery. Upload 3 or less pictures of stuff that you're working on. I'd love to see more, but we need to make sure that everyone gets their fair shot on stream and so on. So, you know, let's all just sort of be a bit considerate for everyone. And also, I don't like skipping people's work, so that's why I asked you to keep it to 3. So go and upload some pics of what you've been working on. Maybe it's something you've been doing while we've been streaming. Maybe it's something you finished recently and want to show off. Maybe it's something you're about to start. Who knows? XPS phone. Yeah, that sort of stuff. Yeah. Also, to buy the man weighing a pint at lunch and you have to pay the full weight. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to start talking about that. The best one is when you've had a few pints at lunch in Bugman's and you've got him sold on your idea of an army. Flickster! Drukhari most competitive army in 9th edition changed my mind. Currently they're not. Give it a couple of weeks for the codex to come out and they probably will be. There you go. You can do some cool shit with Drukhari as long as you really know what you're doing. One of my buddies, Mark Cromblehome, is one of the best Eldar players in the world. And he will push almost anyone's shit in with Drukhari. Soak McBoovy, Especially Point Brush. Use Windsor and Newtons, normally from Jackson's Art, and they've still got some in stock. So much more bait in my mind. No, dude. No. You are weak sauce when it comes to the 40k Bants right now. I have to ponder, you know, do a bit of this, get rid of the last of that hair, and you're good. How you doing, brother? Everyone, if you're not following Flick, this guy is an epic streamer. Took a break. He's back now. Go and give him a follow. Make sure you watch his stuff. It also helps that he's a nice human being as well, so definitely tune in. Logic within, iron without. That'll do. That'll do. I like that. Also, guys, don't forget, ! Vote. We are raffling off an entire army. I say an entire army. That makes it sound like it's a lot bigger than it actually is. But we're raffling off an army for our stream birthday. We've had you guys write some army lists, and you voted on those army lists. I've then taken those army lists, added stuff to it to make it a fully fledged detachment of some description. And we've got a poll. So I need you to go ! Vote. And go and cast your vote for an army you'd like to see me paint on stream during our birthday weekend celebration. So 2 days and 2 days only to paint this army. And then once it's done, it gets raffled off to somebody in the stream. So you can win a fully painted army for a £5. We can't even bait Joe to Eradicators nice. He's got Deathwatch Army away. Eradicators are bullshit. Like, they really are. Rare offline painting session. Nice. What's your Necron points count at now? Fully finished, it's still kind of 3,500. But once we finish off all the stuff we did at the Necronathon last weekend, at the end of the month weekend this time round, we should be able to get that all finished in those 2 days. It's basically a little bit of recess shading, some tidying up, and some highlights, and then a load of red highlights and a load of silver highlights. Should be able to get all of that done in another weekend's worth of painting, but we're not going to do 17, 18-hour days again. That is so hard. The first time I did it, it wasn't so bad. The time we did it this time round, fucking hell. I don't know what the difference was between first and second. It's not like I'm that much older. God, that knocked me. I basically half of this week has been written off because of that. It's such a pain. CG Mini Painting, how you doing, bro? What's some of the most humorous Warhammer name mispronunciations you heard of? The Trinidad's Robert Ghoulie Man. My favourite was I was working in GW, and I don't know what kind of parent decides to do this for their child, but fair play. The guy had been asked for something, he went to get it, he knew what he needed, sort of. This was back when there was still a Warhammer Fantasy range rather than a Sigmar range, and this guy walked into the shop and he walked up the till looking a little uncomfortable. So, hi, I've been sent in to buy something for my son's birthday present. I don't really know anything about this stuff. He's asked for a screaming skull fucker. Screaming Skull Chucker. You mean Chucker with a CH. Chucker. It throws skulls. And this guy was like, oh my god. He's like, yeah, I've got you covered, bro. Alex, take care, man. Thanks for dropping by the stream. Hopefully we'll see you again. What kind of guy is like, yeah, sure, I'll buy my son a Screaming Skull fucker for his birthday? He's obviously sat there and gone, well, this Warhammer stuff is kind of violent. But is there no limit to what I will give my child? So, no wonder he was a little worried. Yeah, exactly. Oh my god. Turbo. He's in the car practicing how he's going to ask. Yeah. I'm just going to go in there and like, yo, bro, I need a Screaming Skull fucker. Like, hey, I'm just here shopping for my son. He wants a Screaming Skull fucker. Gets in there. I don't know what to do. I don't even know where I am. You don't have it installed, but I can kit buy shit for you. But yeah, that's the funniest mispronunciation of a Warhammer one that I've had. I went to a store in the West Midlands. The head of retail was visiting me, all deadpan pronounced Chaos Chouse, like chow but with long chouse. Brilliant. Maybe the son trolled him good. I mean, maybe it was just that. He's like, yeah, go on, Dad. You've got no interest in what I fucking do. Go and ask for a Screaming Skull fucker. We used to prank call other stores when they had a new employee. Scooby KSDP. Cheers for the follow. So when they had a new member of staff, we'd phone up and ask for things like Rhino movement trays. And we got this one guy, and he was like, Rhino movement trays? Do you mean Rhinox? Because Ogre Kingdoms were out. I was like, no. I want a movement tray for a Rhino. Like, my son says he's seen it in your magazine. And, like, he now needs them for his Warhammer army. I'm like, no, we don't do movement trays for Rhinos. Are you calling my son a liar? No. Like, I want to speak to your manager. That was a good one. Right, we've got how many left? 2, 5, so 3, 8 minis left to do this on, and then we go into whip. So not long now. If you want to get your submissions in, now is the time. Harsh. For the longest time, it's a group of streamers saying it that way. No way. Snitch. Not Zench. So you were Karen. Definitely Karen. Full Karen. Working at GW was a piss take. Just a constant piss take. But it was a piss take both ways, unfortunately. Back then it was not. Oh, you were like absolutely bottom rung of the totem pole. And the time that I was there, it was all about sales. So GW used to like flip-flop between being all about the hobby. Hobby is king. Woo, go hobby. And why aren't you selling anything, you horrible cretin? And during the majority of the time that I was there, it was sell, sell, sell. And, oh, God, it killed my love for the hobby. Like, it totally, totally did. So why I was really worried about doing this for a living, doing the same thing. But it really doesn't, because I love the painting aspect of it. And this part of it is just fucking great. Dr. Dread, how you doing? What are submissions? It's for the whip. So, under our normal streams, I think you came in on the Necronathon, where we didn't do it because I was dog tired. We would do a work in progress gallery at the end of the stream, and it allows the community to submit work that they've been working on, 3 or less pictures, so not like a library of it, but just some, and we can have a look. We can either give some feedback if that's what's wanted. We can just have a look at it and share it with everyone on stream, which is just cool. So that's what's cool being talked about. Had the same issue. I was good at sales in hobby times. I told Jay they wouldn't let me paint. Yeah, well, there's a reason that you're getting lessons, dude. I had that same issue. Was being given discipline for not selling enough despite I worked Sundays, and all he was running a Sunday club and running. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then you get like, well, why your intro like conversion rate? So the number of intro games, the number of sales isn't very high. Right, well, you're absolutely right, but that's because I've had to keep doing intro games for the same 4 fucking kids whose parents have left them in the shop while they've gone off for 4 hours. Right, so I've logged all the intro games that I've done to show where I've been like channeling my work efforts and like what I've had to do while I've been in the store. That's it. Jagger Jack, cheers for that follow, man. Welcome. I was the one that did all the Sunday Club stuff in our store. Because I could handle like teaching 12 kids how to play Warhammer, whereas my store manager couldn't even play Warhammer, like fantasy. He was fucking terrible. It's called a young. Oh mate, we had this one kid in the store. His name was Rich, and his mum was a personal trainer in Cheltenham. And those of you that know Cheltenham know it's going to be famous for a couple of things. To be fair, a lot of the things it's famous for aren't great, but Cheltenham has got a lot of very, very, very pretty women in it, and his mum was a 10. And the number of times I joked with him about how I'd end up being his stepdad or something like that one day. She came in, and as soon as she came in, I just started talking to her. And I called him out, I could see his Rich, being like, weren't going to get anywhere. She was married, don't get me wrong. Wasn't going to happen, but it was worth it just to panic him. He's a good guy, I miss him. He works in politics now. I spoke to him a couple of years back. He's done really well for himself. What are we missing in the chat? Well, my first 40k mods today, just started putting together my Cadre Fireblade. Nice, dude. Leech, that's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. GW, they teach you life skills and confidence. Working at GW taught you life skills and confidence. GW did not teach you life skills or confidence. Married is not an obstacle, it's a challenge. Yeah, right? I know a few people that think that way. Yeah, it was accidental. Exactly. Exactly. Like, you'd have to deal with the chaps every now and again that come in and try and steal things. And myself and Carl had a very, like, no-nonsense policy when it came to that. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh, this was a good one. So we had this guy come in, and he was stealing, and he was a right shit, and we knew that like in the town he was a shit, and he was like, I would say familyed up, because that implies that the family he came from was worth a shit, and they really weren't. They weren't the fucking craze or anything, you know, but they thought they were gangsters. They thought they were gangsters in Cheltenham. It's a family called the Johnsons, and I have had quite a few fist fights with various members of the Johnsons working in clubs and so on. But he was friends with a lot of those, and so he thought he had license to do whatever the fuck he wanted. And because he was a little shit, we wanted this guy to go to, like, at least the police have like a bit of a hand in what happened. So we caught it happening. I think his name was Steve. Pretty sure his name was Steve. Anyway, we knew what was happening. Next time he came in, we kept a really close eye on it. As soon as we even had a suspicion of it, Carl was immediately on the phone to the police. It was Ginger Steve. It wasn't that Steve. Anyway, the policeman turned up outside just as this guy was leaving the shop. And as he got towards the door, like, I'd moved in to say, sorry mate, before you go, just a quick word. And this copper walked in, and this kid realised what was about to happen, so it's like, oh, fuck this, I'm out. Bolted out the door. The copper turns to grab hold of him and sort of turns in and goes like a bear hug, like this, but fumbles it, ends up catching the dude though, and sort of sliding down onto the pavement. He's got this guy by the ankles like this. He's got both of them, he can't move anywhere. So I'm looking at this copper, and he looks up and he's like, help? I move to go around the till to get to the door. As I get to the corridor between, like, our shop had the front doors here, the till's here, 2 gaming tables, right? I move around the till and I get to about here at the door. I get to here, and Carl, I feel his hand on my shoulder, and he just pulls me out of the way. Carl, he's 6'3". At the time was probably about 17 stone. Not like gigantic jacked lad, but just built big all over. He's a fucking unit. And the reason he's grabbed me and pulled me out is because he's been running down this like channel between the intro tables and the stock shelves right towards the door. He's like, dum dum. Jay's out of the way. Dum 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 dum. And all I see is this kid Steve looking at the shop like. As Carl gets to the door, he jumps like this and fucking sails through the air, full splash on top of this guy. He gets fucking pancaked. Next thing that happens is the copper gets up, cuffs the dude, and then in what's clearly not okay, but was funny, just gives him a quick slap on the back of the head, like, that's for trying to run away, you fucker. But Carl had wanted to do that for such a long time. The most majestic of all fucking swan dives happened that day. God, fuck that guy, Steve. Okay, this is taking a little too long. It's 2:30, which is when we'd normally be ending the stream. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do the one left in this squad. I'll do the Eradicators as we're going through the whip. So, exclamation point whip, if you'd like to have your work shown on stream, if it's something you finished, something you're working on, something you want some feedback, or something you just want some advice on painting, or something similar, go and put some pics in. The fake gun holder for the manager rolled for White Dwarf and beat the dude. No way! What a legend! It's fucking... Theorist, yes, he had. Yeah, quite a lot over the course of about a week as well. This was back when everything was in like blister pack and metal, so there was a lot that had gone missing. Right, whip channel today. That's pre-stream. That's pre-stream. This is not cool. Oh no! I just realised what this is. So this is Malsur. He's been assembling this and painting this for a little while. We've seen a couple of work in progress pics. My evening ending badly. Not sure I can put back together. Joints are so small. Here's Alas, is one of his D&D characters. And then just at the top of that pillar is a foot. Shit. Sergeant Rolf, I shall actually hear. Yeah, we can definitely do it. It was acceptable for your local Bobby to clip the ear of miscreants then. Yeah, exactly. It still wasn't. It totally wasn't. Especially once they were in fucking handcuffs. Fuck, dude. Oh, that's heartbreaking. You might be able to get a pin in there. The other option that you've got, and this isn't ideal, but it works sort of on a mini like this, is to put a pin in there, get the mini on. If that's still not a very secure joint, take some green stuff and wrap it and make it look like bandages, so that it's like maybe leather straps on a boot or something along those sorts of lines. As long as you make them quite dark and in keeping with the rest of the mini around that area, then it won't draw attention. But that sucks, man. That sucks. Working on a head for my fire dragons. Okay, yeah, looks good, dude. I'm trying to remember what a fire dragon head actually looks like. They do have those little tusk things. Yeah, not bad, man. Looks very Eldar head to me. It's got the ears, it's got that little, like, surround thing. Really nicely sculpted cartoon hair as well. Good stuff. Right, Gummer. Worked more on the Clawed Fiend and redone the Incubi blades. I know what you mean about the blade. The reason it doesn't work is the green. Change the green to bright blue and it'll work. I do like those blades though, dude. Like, if you do that and cover the green up, they look fucking sick. Let's get a big shot of these. So it's those tiny specular highlights you've put in there. That's what sells the blade. Nice work. But yeah, I mean, that green blue, it basically is the same logic behind how I've done the headlights on this guy, yeah? So these go together well, and we've got the three primary colors here. You'd have red, blue, yellow on your mini. You'd get that. And you've got cold against warm. Solid job. I think the back of the blade just needs a bit more anyway, though. It's very plain in relation to some of the rest of it. So maybe just get some more shadows and some more highlights on that too. But I do love that red. Good work. Really good work. Nice. Oh, mate, those vampire things look sick with the purple wings. Good color choice. Nice, man. Very nice. Right, Danny. Firstborn Marine for scale. Oh, this is that Snow White you printed up for your mum who broke the one she had or something. Was that right? Did I invent that story? I don't think so. That is one scary looking Snow White. She is stoned. But well done, dude. Good print. Daddy Tubbs, looking to a 2K Blood Angel list. Want a fast color scheme. First time using oils. Really like the medium. CC welcome. Oils are great for doing any kind of grimdark style, any kind of weathered style minis. They really, really are. Quite a subtle thing, but I like it. The lack of the vents on the faceplate. Timmy! Cheers, bro. Thanks for that, host. Hope you're having a decent day at work. I like what you've done. I do. You want a quick scheme? This definitely looks like it ticks some boxes. Yeah. The only suggestions that I can give you are going to make everything take longer. And that's not the goal here, right? It's fine having all the miniatures in your army looking beautiful, display quality, and all that. That's great. But sometimes you don't have time. My Necron army is a good case in point for this, right? We are cutting a lot of corners. We're not making everything look completely beautiful because we want to get it all done. And this is definitely one of those things. See, what you've just said there is great. You know, you get your sort of bulk of the work done. Then you go back in, cut in some extra details, cut in some maybe freehand and stuff like that, and build the army over time. That's definitely a way to do it. What you might find with this is that that's difficult because of all the weathering. And that just makes things harder to add to. I'd like to see them on some bases to really get a feel of the mini. The thing that I kind of dislike, I think I understand why you've done it, is the green venting. That's obviously an all-over wash that you've applied to the mini and then just not removed it in those areas. And so I would take the time to go in and cut that in something else. Whether you use oils for it or whether you just use acrylics and so on, that's completely up to you. But I think that does need it. It looks, unfortunately, Nurgle-ish. And whilst that's not the army you're going for, and it shouldn't really matter, a lot of what we do as artists is something that evokes a reaction in people. So when you look at something, you're like, damn, that looks scary. Damn, that looks terrified. Damn, that looks mean as fuck. It's that reaction. It's that like tapping into the sort of human psyche that you've done. When it comes to the hobby, because there's a lot of stuff that we have that is other miniature ranges and so on that kind of melds together, you find that happens with that. So you'll look at stuff and you go, oh, it looks slightly chaotic. Oh, that looks great as a Chaos Marine. So oh, you did enamels as well. Nice. Yeah, I'd probably lose that. That's the only thing, though. It does add time, but I think that's time well spent. Solid job, though, dude. Really, really good work. Get them based. 2,000 points. Finally ready to go. Would you do anything with the Flyers clear bases? Leave them as they're going to be done. As I am in yellow and blue. Going to do black marble bases. Hope that controls well with the yellow. So 2,000 points of Eldar. Damn. So for my Necrons, I'm doing the flying stands all in black, matte black, to try and make them just literally fade into the background and be ignored. Bioshock vibes, yeah, I can get that. Missing some of that kind of verdigris that's really famous in their artwork and so on. It's very prevalent in what they do. First, I would probably... Well, it's up to you. Like I said, I'm going to do mine black because I think overall it's going to look about as realistic as painting them leaving them unpainted and super glossy. So certainly it's easier to paint them when they're like that, especially if they're assembled like you've got here. In terms of your colour scheme, you said you did an Iyanden yellow with black marble bases. Yeah, black marble bases. The only suggestion I'd give you there is, whilst you're looking for contrast, is make sure you don't have too much contrast. So, if the absolute massive difference that you're going to have naturally between your black marble base and your yellow is too much, people won't look at any part of the mini other than its feet, because that's where that difference will be like most prominent, right? And you don't want that. So if you do black marble, and obviously you're probably going to follow the how to paint marble guide we put up on YouTube, just a quick plug there, make sure that you do it as a really dark grey with some black veins, but find another colour vein that helps soften the contrast a little. Because too much, like I said, you'd end up just looking at the mini's feet. All the hard work you're putting on the rest of the army would be not necessarily wasted, but not shown. So, CG Mini Painting, thank you for that host, bro. Really appreciate all the hosts we've been given this stream. You guys absolutely rock. So look at the other picks. What we got? We got a load of jet bikes, some guardians, some wraith blades. Love it. A wraith lord or so. Nice, man. Gotta say, my favourite thing about this picture, and I'm sorry that this is my favourite thing about this picture, is the gigantic abundance of shot glasses that I'm seeing. I think that's a really good way of holding on to your minis. Where did you get that tech from? This is great. It's crazy. Ooh. Nice bases. I thought they were just the Eldar Dreadnought base, but they're not. Nice. Mr. McDade. Cheers, brother. So yeah, good stuff, mate. Good luck. Let's see some whip shots when you get going on with it. Right, Mr. Brutal. Look at these. That's a very cool Necron scheme. I like the off-coloured faces. We're doing that for the 40 others of 40k crons. They're predominantly gold with a white kind of death mask looking face. So shots, paint, yay! Absolutely. I really like it. Really like it. The metal is super dark. Helps emphasize the green. That white face really jumps out at you as a consequence. So super big fan of that. I even like the little scarab dude he's got crawling on the rock. Some of your green could be thinner. Like, if you're going for Tron, then you've definitely got that effect. If you want something a little more subtle, then just thin your paint for the green and sort of glaze on that first highlight. Then you can pick out corners with your next highlight. You'll get the same kind of effect, but it just look a little smoother. And that's noticeably predominant around the power glow in the chest. Obviously stuff like that super simple to do and very quick to do with the airbrush, but it's just one of those things that with a brush is a bit of a slog. And we almost had enough wash mixed up to do all the rest of this, but never mind. But yeah, I like it. Really big fan of the color scheme. Love the way it goes in with the base. Everything there is super natural. Very sort of muted, normal colors, and you've got this very in-your-face Necron. Big fan. There he is. Yeah, looks good, dude. Looks really good. Keep it up. Cadian Ranger, he's been doing his homework. So here's the Blood Angels Assault Intercessors. Looking sharp, bro. Where's one of your videos? That's it. Up there at the back. So we both paint. It does get dusty down there. The same mini. Here's what I've been doing in his lessons. So the last lesson we did was some really worn and battered leather. Yeah. And here is Dan's version of that. So every lesson, regardless of who my student is, and Dan is someone that's won painting contests before, he's definitely an accomplished painter, they get homework. You get an assignment. It's to practice everything that we've done in the lesson. So, Jay, how much blue tack do you go through on a chronothon? Fuck, dude. I went through everything I had, and I bought 4 additional packs of blue tack. But I've also got this Blood Angels army that was all on basics. Like, this blue tack, this amount of blue tack, is what was used. Like, that's a lot. Is what we used for all of the sub-assemblies of the Impulsor. You know? So... there's plenty. But yeah, good work, dude. Let's get a nice close-up view of those pouches. Look at that. You can see that distressed leather. So, some of your lines here do need to be a little thinner, a little bit finer. You've got a couple there that stand out just a little too much. So thin the paint, slightly lighter brush pressure as you're doing those little strikes. But you've nailed the colours for it. Definitely looks right. What are you going to do on the bottom of yours? I painted mine brown and highlighted it, but we could do like gold caps or something like that on it. You know. We'll see. Silly Sprues, I hope you're looking forward to your like first actual lesson, because you've had a lot of practice with the airbrush now, and we've now got to actually apply that to a mini rather than you doing lines on paper and some practice bits. Have you got all of the stuff for painting gold, by the way? It is really good. It is really good. Nick has been the recipient of a painting lesson. But there we go. That's it. That's everything in the whip. So I didn't quite get through everything here. So we've just got this one guy to do, and then we will get a raid going. So if you guys have got... Well, it was a little bit chunk, wasn't it? You guys... But if you've got someone... Hey. If you've got someone specific you'd like us to go and raid, then use your channel points. Redeem the guide, the raid, and tell us where you'd like to go. Otherwise, I'll just find a friend and send you off. As always, don't forget, exclamation point vote. We've got to get that vote done by as many people as possible to work out which army we'll be buying to paint and raffle off for our stream's 2nd anniversary in April. That's the last weekend of April. So you can win an army painted by me in a colour scheme chosen by the community and a basing scheme chosen by the community for what's probably going to be a $5 a ticket. Not bad. Not bad. Fully painted army for a $5. Don't mind if I do, thanks. Got good at taking apart Yowata. Nice. So, Too Many Sprues, check out the How to Paint Gold guide on Patreon, because that's what we'll be doing. Same colours. Right. Let's go to Twitch. And who is streaming? Miniatures Den. We like the Miniatures Den. Honest Wargamer. Sigmar TTS tournament. I'd rather stab myself in the junk. The Hobby Room we're on. Let's make it Orkies on. What was Workshops on? Any preference? No? Okay. It's my 40th birthday in April. What a gift. I mean... Good for you, the two are not connected. Okay, this is 5 there. It's cocked, like I say. 1. I mean, he's Miniatures Den. And this guy can fucking paint as well, let's be honest. This is not a bad place to go and hang out. Looks like he's working on a Pantheon from League of Legends, that kind of thing. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Anyway, guys, I will see you tomorrow night live at 9 PM. We'll be carrying on the Blood Angels, this time with some highlights rather than washes. We'll see you there.